This girl basically said that I had fatphobia.
I'm on my way to an island and I'm popping shit at the pilot. Niggas be broken, be starving, but still talking shit like they violent. They say that they honest, how money these niggas gon' say that they got it. Getting out with the kid is success and these niggas gon' blame it on college. They don't wanna see you win. They don't wanna see the race. No, you don't wanna see a bitch caught up in the stars like she out of space.
But I'm a nigga who gained 40 pounds and lost 40 pounds. And I know how hard that is. And I know the difference in how it feels to be 40 pounds too heavy and to be where I need to be in order to perform. And like, if you don't want to go to the gym, if you don't want to run, if you don't want to lift, if you don't want to do core, shut the fuck up.
I've been a raven, I bought it, it's Liddy again. Fly out a bit from the tropic and Liddy again. All of my partners is poppin', you know that we Liddy again. All of the fours on college, you know that we Liddy again. They don't wanna see the squad, they don't wanna see the rain. They don't wanna see a bitch up in the stars like she going out of space. Liddy again, I got it, we Liddy again. Liddy again, I got it, we did it, we Liddy again. Feature money out of safe when they bought a Ray, brought it on college. Niggas talking like they want it when we in the city, they don't want problems. Niggas say they
I'm at a loss. I'm confused as to what body shaming really is. It's like if you say something that's a fact, but that fact hurts another person's feelings, then we label it body shaming. So like, what do y'all even think body shaming is? Like, what's y'all definition?
Liddy again, I got it, we Liddy again. Liddy again, I got it, we did it, we Liddy again. All of my niggas is way up, these niggas is haters, I know that they haters. I told your bitch like
Okay.
Can you turn your group text messaging off so you stop? It's distracting.
Can you hand it to me?
You can't get off your perch.
I can't. I can't move.
Your pants
zone.
tight.
Yep, all of it.
Jaxon X.
Yo, I really hate y'all, man.
On his perch. Oh!
Yeah, I'm an eagle today. You're right, Philly. Fuck is up, man. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing?
Is this like the Hollywood fucking voice that we're getting?
What? I'm saying, what's up with y'all? What's up,
on?
guys? How's
Are we
it
on?
going? We're like, what do you mean?
Are we on?
Hi, Jaxon.
Yeah.
I'm well.
That's good.
I'm Nick with Erotic Boudoir.
All right, wait. Let you introduce. Yo, y'all niggas. All right. Let me introduce.
Let him
y'all.
do his job. Yes.
I'm fucking with him. Go ahead.
Damn. I know. Y'all ain't shit. What's up, man? Welcome to another episode of One Mic Stand. Of course, I'm Jaxon from Sex with Strangers. New episode every Monday. Shout out to CM Juice. What up? I'm actually in Philly, believe it or not. I usually always do the one mics in another city. That's kind of like been my thing. Every time I go to a new city, sit down with somebody who listens to the show, fucks with the show, and talk about something interesting. But I don't know. I had a really, really heated conversation. Not really a heated one, but I had a conversation with somebody who sparked an idea of something to talk about, and I actually immediately thought kind of you guys, not in a bad way, but just in a I know some people who could really bring interesting perspectives about this particular topic, all three of y'all or whatever. So I'm hyped to talk about that. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves first because I actually want to talk about something else real quick before we actually get into the main topic. So just go around the room. Oh, I'm Jaxon 1616, JAXON 1616 is my Instagram. Follow me so we can just go around the room and y'all tell people who y'all are, what's y'all business, what y'all doing here, how y'all know me, all that bullshit.
Oh, y'all just gonna look at me? How y'all doing? My name is Miles. I'm just Miles. I'll say formally of the Legion of Love podcast. I'm glad to be here. And my Instagram, you want me to give an Instagram now or what?
That's on you.
Instagram is Miles Alonzo, MILES, period. Alonzo, ALONGO. And I also use Twitter from time to time.
This nigga a city boy.
Twitter is The Miles Theory, DA_Miles_Theory. I don't know where the hell that name came from, but it's been my Twitter name forever. So.
Me?
Yeah.
My name is Lauren White. I'm owner and principal designer of L&W Interior Concepts. I met Jaxon through Nicole. Through the podcast she listened to. And from there, I met Jaxon, and we had conversations that I just really thought he needed me in his life.
That's the most pompous introduction I've ever heard.
So I thought, I practice Buddhism, so, it was about cause and effect. So I thought, Jaxon would be one of my benefits, so bringing good causes into the universe. And then he's interesting to talk to. He seems to have some emotional intelligence. He uses standard English, which is nice to hear. And I just like his energy. I appreciate him. He's like a little brother. So, L&W Interior Concepts is my Instagram. If you want to look at beautiful things, I would love for you to follow me.
Ooh, I don't know how I follow that up. I'm Nick. How y'all doing? I'm Nicole. I prefer to be called Nick. I am co-owner of Erotic Boudoir, which is an adult novelty business. Erotic Boudoir's Instagram is erotic_BOUDOIR. We have all things sex, host adult events. Art of Bondage was recently filmed by my good friend Jaxon here. He did an amazing fucking job.
They just literally looked at it like 15 minutes ago.
But the teaser, I was getting a ton of feedback from the teaser. Like that sparked a lot of interest.
Good.
For the next.
Oh, for the next one, yeah. Did you get your Instagram right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Were you about to say more things?
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're so cheesy right now. Like all these presidential thumbs up. All right, we talking about body shaming. What it is, what it's not. What you can say, what you can't. Then what I say, and then don't give a fuck about saying. And I just think people sensitive. But before we get on that, Lauren and I.
I'm scared.
And not just Lauren. Other women have have what's the right phrase or term? Have taken umbrage about me.
Harry Potter.
About me.
Is that like undercarriage?
About me using. About Google it. About me using the word bitch and hoes or bitches and hoes, just in my everyday vocabulary. And I have we've gone back and forth, but you're not the first person to say it, and we've talked about it before. And I actually thought we've had really, really good conversations about it. So I kind of wanted to relive it and bring it on camera, just for other people to kind of listen and chime in or see what they think, see if they agree or disagree with myself or with you. First, I want to ask you why do you feel such a strong way towards me using words that a lot of niggas use?
Because I know you, and like I said in the introduction, you have emotional intelligence. You're a gentleman. And when I hear you refer to women as bitches and hoes consistently, I just think it's tacky. I think that, especially, you dating and always having these women troubles and the type of women that not women troubles, but you were going through this thing.
One troublesome woman.
One trouble, but just period.
Salty.
Oh Lord.
I got you.
Just, you talking about your dating woes and meeting women and different type of women and how you're still single, but that's a whole nother subject.
Wait. Are you insinuating that I complain about being single?
No, I'm not insinuating that.
Okay.
That's you putting your cut on it. Okay. I'm just saying what I'm saying.
Okay.
But I just feel like, when you say that, you attract a certain type of a woman. And I feel like a woman who I'm trying to be tasteful on what I say.
Why?
Say what you're gonna
say. This is the show. This is the show.
Because again, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. So anyone who looks at the motherfucker, that's who.
They looking.
Okay, well,
I clicked it.
This is me. I'm going to have a little tact with what I say. Okay?
Right.
So I feel like...
Add one more and you're racist.
Okay, well, whatever. I just feel like when you refer to women as bitches and hoes, bitches and hoes, bitches and hoes, that's what you're going to attract. Bitches and hoes. That type of mentality. And I know you're not that type of, like, that's ghetto shit. You're going to, the same woman you talk about, ooh, she's this, she's that, she talks this way or that way. That's what you're going to attract, talking like that. So what you put out is what you receive. So if you want a woman, a certain caliber of woman who thinks like you, who talks like you, who's educated like you, no woman that in my experience, is going to take a man who refers to women as bitches and hoes all the time serious as in a relationship type of way. So like I told you, when we were talking and my sister heard the podcast of something that I let her hear, she was like, who is he? It's a turnoff to, she's educated, she has a master's degree. Mm-hmm. Like, you would just be somebody to just fucking, arm candy and buy. Like, I couldn't take a guy seriously who I think refers to women as bitches and hoes. And I take it personally with you because I know you're not that type of guy.
So she did think I was arm candy, though.
Oh my God. I didn't say all that. But I'm just saying, certain guys, if they look a certain way, I mean, for me, I'm not going to take you seriously. You're just going to be something to do. But I wouldn't take a man. I couldn't even be around. Like, if me and a guy are talking and every time he talks about women, calls them bitches, I wouldn't even fuck with him.
Now, for the record, right? You said the podcast.
Yes.
The podcast is for entertainment, right?
Yes.
But also the podcast is, our style of podcast is uncensored, candid, pretty free.
Right.
I guess, right? Now, I've always also said that when I do say bitches and hoes, like, I've never called a woman a bitch or a hoe or a whore.
Right.
Or a slut or a smut or a skank or any
I
other scallywag or anything like that. Skeezer. Sleazer.
Thought.
Schmeezer. Thought. Any more?
Smutty butt.
Cunt.
That's white people John. They hate that shit.
But yeah, so like if you know that, I guess if you know that I'm respectful, if you know that I treat people a certain way, I don't understand why like the word upsets you so much, especially when other people are given like free liberty to use this word based on like what they do or what their status is or all of that. Like, honestly, I'm one of those people where I'll stop doing some shit if you tell everybody to stop doing some shit.
Okay, well,
but if you don't tell, if the same rules don't apply for other niggas who is in entertainment, then like you can't tell me to follow this particular rule because I'm just a regular ass nigga.
Well, number one, I'm not telling you anything. I'm just voicing how it makes me feel. You can do what you want, brother. Okay? That's number one.
Sister.
Number two, I don't know any other men who are in entertainment in the capacity that you are. So I'm telling you because I know you. If it was somebody else that I knew and they talk like that, I'm like, you just said you never called a woman that. So if you never called a woman that, why, when you generalize women, you call them bitches and hoes? It's
more of a slang term, and I know that probably sounds terrible, but it's more of a slang term. How women call men niggas, or dickhead, or slickhead, or
well,
dickhead,
I don't do that. Like I told you before, when I listen to the podcast, and I guess because I am older, like the way you guys talk is like.
When was the last time you listened though? Because that's a big thing as well. Because I have gotten a lot of pushback. Where I used to maybe like I don't know a year or so ago, and I actually started to censor myself on the show quite a bit. And I don't know if you've ever listened to any of the other one mics. The last one that I did with the single black moms, the one clip that I put up there when I was like, oh yeah, I know hoes with kids. Yeah, that bitch got kids too. That was like the only time I said that on that.
Well, I haven't listened to the podcast. I don't know. It might have been a year. I don't quite remember. I don't remember what happened 2 days ago. So, you have to forgive me for that. But okay. Like I said, it's not just you. Like I feel like it's just different. It's just different. I feel like the way women talk is disgusting too. Like the way y'all they what pussy. I would never call a man a pussy just because it's not allowed. Like it's disrespectful.
Do y'all? And if you can plead the fifth if you want, both of you. When growing up, even now, prior to being married, whatever, amongst your homies, amongst your friends, do y'all say bitches and hoes?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
I never was big on the word, to be honest with you, on bitches, hoes, whatever. Here and there in a conversation, I might have called somebody out their name, but I, like you, I've never called anybody nothing like that to their face or said that to them or speak to them in that way because I think that it's demeaning and I do think it's wrong. Now, if I'm having a conversation among friends, obviously this is not getting out or whatever, so I may say here and there some funny shit or say bitches be tripping or something like that, but I don't really refer
bitches do be tripping.
Yeah. I don't really refer to women as bitches and hoes because I just don't, it's never been my thing, but I understand where you're coming from. I understand where both of y'all are coming from, but I also have an issue like he has as well because it's like it's almost like only certain people can say certain things. And it's like either, like he said, either you're going to stop it altogether or you're not. I have the same feeling about the word nigga. Like, I use nigga a lot. Mm-hmm. And people be like, oh, you shouldn't say that. I got a homie who doesn't use the word at all. If you call him that, be like, ain't no niggas over here, brother. But at the end of the day, it's a word that we're using. It's a word that's universally used. And I really have a biggest issue when any woman would say to me something about bitches or just in a conversation. And I'm like, well, yeah, everybody looks at me funny, but it's like, y'all listen to rappers every day who call y'all bitches. Like, y'all know who they're talking to. They're talking to y'all, but nobody cares because he's a rapper. It doesn't make sense to me because if he or she or whoever can do this and then somebody else does it and you ready to fight, I never understood that because it's like, if I call you a bitch, but Lil Wayne's like, fuck these bitches, like, he's talking about all women in general. Nobody wants to fight Lil Wayne, but everybody want to stab me to death. It doesn't make sense. And it's like he's saying, like, if you want somebody to stop saying it, then you need everybody to stop saying it, not just because, he says it. And then me and you kind of had a conversation about this last week where I said, Jackson's an entertainer. When I first heard the podcast, I'm like, damn, he do say bitches and hoes a lot. Like, I'm like, but based on this show and how they talk, and then meeting him in person, it was like, all right, that's a persona somewhat. So, in a sense, it's not the same person. Yeah, he's just like, I would say he's Jackson on the show, but when you know him as a person, he's Jamal. I know he's not ignorant as hell. I know he's not running around telling women, you're a fucking whore. Like, no, it don't work like that. The lines are blurred
then because he's talking about personal things on a podcast, like real personal things. So
that's true too.
So who are you going to be on it? You're talking about personal things on the podcast, Jamal shit, but the persona is Jackson. I don't get it because, and maybe I need to, come back around to what I was saying. It was always about you with women and not complaining about women and everything. So I'm like, well, if this show, most times when I listen, it was the Jackson getting Jackson a girl or getting Jackson somebody.
That's not on my.
No, it's not. But when you talk Jackson, it was like when you talk from my experience of listening to the show, it was like dang, I really want him to find a nice girl.
That's what you thought, or that's what you thought that I was saying?
That's how I experienced it.
Okay.
So from me listening, that's how I processed it.
I got you.
Like, you know, you guys would talk about relationship stuff, but when it came about you and the ex and everything, it's like, damn, I really want him to find a nice girl.
We all do.
I say and that's what I'm saying. So when you hear that, and then you hear you saying these bitches and hoes, it's like you're never going to find nobody because the mouth is a mess. You're never going to find a nice.
I don't agree.
Yes.
I don't agree with
yes.
By saying bitches and hoes?
Yes.
So if
if
I fucking write a fire 16 right now and got bitches and hoes peppered in it, that make me sound scorned, or it make me sound like I'm
Jaxon, but you're
rhyming words.
But it's different things. You can't. You're not going to put an actor in the same box as a rapper. It's a different. You're in an entertainment, but you're not a rapper.
Well, he's still an entertainer.
Yeah, but so what? But the thing is that's different is I know him personally. You hear Drake talk about his mom doesn't like his raps. When you know the person personally, it doesn't care what they're doing. You like, I know you deeper than that. Right. So that's why. So I don't give a fuck about what everybody else does. Everybody else hasn't helped me with my with my website, giving me good things to write. So I have an emotional attachment to him. So that's why I care. I want him to, you know, get the best he can out of life. So I don't give a fuck about Lil Wayne and whoever. I'm talking about you. So you can
Lil Wayne.
But the thing, I mean, but see, I don't know. Maybe it's the Libra thing going between me and him. But it's like, to me, I'm like, if you know him personally and you know that he doesn't treat women like that and he's not like this on a daily basis with any woman, from conversations me and him have had and the things we talked about and the stuff, he's a good dude. I told him before, like, you'll make a good husband one day, bro, when you get there. But the fact of the matter is, like, it just, like, Jay-Z is married to Beyonce. This nigga bitch didn't hold his way all the way up to the top. The song, first of all, the song Girls, 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 he just be disrespecting girls the whole song.
But is he
Jigga man, why you treat me like animal? That's some of the most ignorant shit you ever heard.
He wasn't the first one to say it.
I know he wasn't, but what I'm saying is,
Jaxon has said
it doesn't take away from his ability. Not at all. It doesn't take away from his ability to, I think, and when you're talking about, you know, what you attract and stuff like that, I'm just going to say I don't agree on that on personal experience, because I know a lot of people who may talk like that and act like that, but they don't attract people like that. And how I think what's most important about a human being is how you treat them. And if he's with somebody and he doesn't do anything like that, and when he gets on the podcast and he talk like that, all right, that's one thing. But when he get home, as long as he's not home like, hey, bitch, with my dinner, like, all right, that's ignorant shit to me. But when you're entertaining people, it becomes a different story, you know, when you're entertaining people. And I think, you know, you just kind of look at the line and say, all right, you know, I understand what you're saying. Fuck all them, you know them personally. I get it, but I'm just going based on, you know, like experience, like just because I've been in entertainment before through podcasts, and I might have said some things, but at the end of the day, when I go home to my wife, it's about how I treat my wife, and you'll never see me talk crazy or act wild and just do wild, disrespectful shit. So I think it's more important about how you, as a person, carry yourself with your relationship or based on who you're dealing with versus what I say because I'm on the air for 2 hours.
Okay.
Nick, you ain't really say much. How you feel about it?
I didn't get a chance to answer the question.
Now's your chance.
Hi. No, so as far as using bitches and hoes, I use it, but I use it when it's called for, if you will. So back to Miles' point about it being demeaning, that's when I'm using it. My intention is
trying to demean you.
Absolutely. So if I'm calling somebody a bitch or I'm calling somebody a hoe, I mean that shit. Mm-hmm. So it's not in general conversation with me, and I often catch myself saying, like, I'll use the word nigga, like, oh, these niggas, you know what I mean? But I catch myself getting ready to say those things, and I stop myself often. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I do use it, but I use it with intent to demean whatever topic that I'm talking about at that moment in time.
I got you. And I'm glad you said you want to use it, but then you have to like stop yourself. And I think that's one of my other points is like from having like a platform to talk shit or to talk about whatever topics. I'm kind of choosing to have to try to use my platform to allow people to say what they really feel and say it without like having to stop yourself or without having to censor yourself. If this is how you like, however you speak, when no cameras are around or no mics are around, it's just you and your homies, or you just talking to yourself about a bad day or a bad situation or whatever. Like, that's what I would hope people will come on here and give me and deliver to me, because like if we not really being authentic in that way, like what's the whole point? And I understand what you're saying about tact because of like your audience and all of that, but like I would always just combat that with like, I feel like the audience who is going to continuously click on whatever it is that I'm doing or whatever it is Sex with Strangers is doing, like they know what they're about to get. Like they know that they're about to get like some real shit, whether it's right or wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like everybody can relate. Every nigga I feel like can relate to calling a woman a bitch.
I feel like
every woman can relate to
it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like if you can relate to that, then there's got to be some authenticity in it. I'm just the nigga who is daring enough to say the shit unapologetically, because I know for a fact, I'm not gonna say who, but Jaxon, I know for a fact that it's niggas who, when they're just in close quarters discussing whatever, they say the word bitch and they say the word hoe, and they don't. And these are niggas who don't disrespect women like in a man woman dynamic. It might just be like in that man cave like vibe, like, you know what I'm saying. I'm not saying that that's right. I'm just saying that that's real.
But why wouldn't you challenge yourself to be better than that? Because in my eyes, what stops me is because I know I'm better than that. I know that my vocabulary is better than that.
The vocabulary can be there, but the thought is like, to me, it's like God. If y'all believe in God or whatever, like once you think some shit, you thought it, so you might as well fucking say it. That's how I feel, at least on my platform. Like, not, and you know what I'm saying, like, because I feel like you are able to. I do subscribe to the idea of, you know, wearing different hats in different environments and all that. But in this particular environment with cameras and mics, in the uncensored world of podcasting or whatever, you know, content creating or whatever y'all want to call it, this is the perfect place to fucking say what you feel like saying. Yeah, and some people gonna fuck with you and some people not.
So this is the way I think about it too, because I think about it from a business aspect too. So it was like, okay, are you doing the podcast? What's the purpose of the podcast? Just to talk and let yourself out, or are you going to monetize from it? So my whole thing is women who consistently talk to men like they're like they another nigga on the street. Women who accept being called bitches and hoes are people who are on a lower frequency.
Now,
can I finish? And for me, in my experience as being a full-time entrepreneur, okay? No, I'm just saying, because people don't understand. Like, I'm a gatherer hunter. I have to kill to eat. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm doing stuff to make money. So I would guess that eventually you want to make money off of this podcast. And one of the things you can do to make money is do live shows, sell tickets. And when I think about this, and Nick can attest to this too, I'm thinking about who is your audience. And your audience, we all know that women in this country, especially black women, are killing it as far as making money, bringing home the bread and everything. So, and most times those women are educated, you know what I'm saying? They're on a higher frequency. So if you're catering to entry-level people on a lower frequency, I feel like you only going to be able to charge entry-level prices, and you're going to cut off a wider range of people where you can have certain different kinds of conversations, because most people who they want to kiki all the time, they never want to get serious about a topic, and that's all they want to hear. So when you might be talking about something a little bit more serious and a little bit where, you know, you got to be a little more well read, those those people that love to hear that type of talk, who are your main audience, they're not going to be there to tune in. Because like I said, I stopped listening to it, not only because of just you. It's like, it's too much. Like the women too, how they talk, calling men pussies and shit. That shit turns me off personally. And I said, well, maybe it's because I'm older. So maybe because I do hear now women, the way they talk, it's like, you listen to Meg Thee Stallion? On the radio.
It's a lot of educated, well-rounded, well-read, well-traveled, classy. I wear blazers to work, 9 to 5, corporate America, or entrepreneur with all the R's that you added on it. It's a lot of those women who fuck with music like Meg Thee Stallion, and she says a lot of raunchy shit.
But y'all not music, y'all a podcast.
What do that mean? It's still
difference.
Entertainment. How?
So you're telling me a podcast has the same type of it has the same type of effect as music? Music is universal. Podcasts aren't.
Why not?
Because they're not. I don't know. What
it's still in its. I feel like podcasting is still in its infant stages, and I feel like podcasting would be considered universal because all podcasting is a group of people or a person having hopefully a really good conversation.
Well, I'm going to have to do some research on that because I don't think.
I can tell you a personal story.
Pardon me?
I can tell you a personal story.
All right. So if somebody explain it to me. When people people go to different countries and they're singing their music, they might not even know what the words are, but they're singing it. It's a vibe because it's musical. You know what I'm saying? A podcast isn't musical. So what vibration can they get off to do? They have to actually know what you're talking about. And then when you come from a different, I feel like music, it cuts across barriers culturally, racially, all of that. Podcasts don't, because you're a black man from wherever you're from. I'm sorry, St. Louis, Missouri, whatever.
From wherever you're from.
And you live in Philly. You have a Western Hemisphere mindset, like most Americans do. So you're when you talk to people maybe over in the Middle East, they're going to resent you because the way you think. But music, it crosses all those barriers. So I don't understand how you're comparing a podcast to music. They're two totally different things.
You don't think music is filled with a person's thoughts on paper put to music, put to melody?
But the melody is not words.
So, yeah, but the melody don't got shit to do with what the artist is penning in the past.
So when you listen to artists talking about, the people are going up and down to the beat of the music, so not to really their words.
But if you were to listen to the words are still apples and apples. Like, if you were to take the music away and now it's just Meg rapping, she's saying a lot of bitches and a lot of hoes and a lot of pussies and a lot of niggas and a lot of.
But listen, when you hear older people who might not even know what the words, you'll hear an older person, I like that song because I like the beat. They ain't even listen to the music. Because the beat is so. My mom, it was a Kanye West, and she said, "Lauren, I don't know what that song is, but I like the beat. You don't have a beat behind what you're saying, so that beat is it's what goes beyond the words. Because people in Japan who can't speak or might not know a lick of English, they're jumping up and down to the beat, not necessarily the words.
But I bet you, Meg saying bitches and hoes, they sing her like right along with it though.
But they're listening to something different at that point. I mean, if you're there for the beat and you don't understand the song, I think you just listen to the beat. What I do want to say is that I feel like this conversation, as far as the podcasting, I feel like you're kind of discounting it a little bit, because podcasting does a lot for a lot of people. A lot of people on their commutes to work, back and forth, listen to podcasts. There's so many different kinds, just like music. Sex with Strangers, personally, me listening to the show when I first heard it, I was like, damn, there are people out here who think like me. Or they talk about stuff that I think about that I haven't expressed to anybody, because it seems like nobody talks about this stuff. But then you realize that there's a whole crew and a whole slew of people who are on this tip. But what the podcasting does is gives you something that you can't take everywhere. So I can have a conversation about certain shit at work, but then I can listen to my podcast and I can vibe with these people about the things that they're talking about, because most of this stuff is not commonplace things that you want to talk about. So then when you go to stuff like, shout out to EB, Erotic Boudoir, so when you go to stuff like Art of Bondage and you see all of these people who are on that same, that same mindset. We talking educated people. We talking to low people, educated, those who are, who may not be the smartest, those who are on the highest level. I know some of the people there and they're very educated. It brings people together. And I think that's one of the things that, we're kind of not talking about, where, yeah, he may say some things that, some other people aren't going to like. A lot of people don't like a lot of shit. That's just how it goes. But a lot of people enjoy hearing them talk. A lot of people enjoy the content. Even though Sexual Strangers is like, they're ratchet, they say wild shit, they say funny shit. They have some of the deepest conversations that I've heard based around sex and relationships. And it used to be funny because they used to what was it, Jodeci? And,
y'all was the Boys and Men.
We were Boys and Men on Legion Love. They were like Jodeci because theirs was just more raunchy and like crazy. But it brings people together, and and I think what you're saying about music, that's what music does for people. Podcasting does the same thing, because it's like, yo, you listen to that, I listen to that too. How about that conversation they had the other day? It's not really all about, just because Jaxon said bitches and hoes, I'm gonna be turned off. These real ass conversations about what happens in people's love lives daily that they can't have conversations about, or they don't want to talk to people about because people are judging them. Sexual Strangers is a safe place for them as a human being and as a person to be able to talk and listen and have these conversations. So I think that, as far as we're talking about like the widespread, the universally, I mean, it shows that people listen. They go to live shows in other states and people are like, yo,
but I'm talking globally. I know, but I'm talking.
Yeah, but it'll eventually get there.
But this is what I'm saying. Eventually, but we're talking about right now, presently. Presently, podcasts are not cutting cultural barriers. People.
They are.
No, they're not.
You gotta look into it. They are. Look into it. They are.
People who want to hear his type of stuff are, like I said, we're in a Western hemisphere. So his conversation, somebody in a whole nother country is not going to be able to relate to what they're talking about.
We had listeners from Germany. I'm just telling you. I'm just being honest with you.
Okay, so name every country in the world.
I mean, you can look at. Well, you gotta pull up your list of listeners, and they'll tell you that people all over.
So you're telling me that podcasts are the equivalent of music?
They're not exactly the same, but music.
So music.
They're right
who's
up
more
behind
powerful?
Music.
A podcast is right behind. So movies. So if movies aren't, cinema is not behind music, and then podcasts.
I'm talking about an inspirational. We're talking from inspiration and people being able to relate. Movies are one thing. Music is relatable. Podcasts are relatable. As long as you hear something that you agree with or something that you can get along with, that's all it takes. And people do listen all over the world. Because I was surprised when we were doing our show and there was people from Germany and Australia. I'm like, who the hell are these people? Right. But they hear something that they can relate to, and that's all it takes. And it spreads like wildfire. That's how it works, and that's how people. There are some podcasts out there that they make big money just because they sit there and talk trash. They don't go to work. All they do is podcasts, and these motherfuckers are paid because people listen to what they can relate to.
Right. Okay.
It is still in its infant stages too. So you just gotta take that into consideration. Like podcasting is like very, very, very brand new. So and music and movies are much, much older than podcasting. So of course they're gonna have more of a reach. You know what I'm saying? But like somebody might have been saying the same thing about music or a genre of music or the type of movies that came out like when movies and music first came into fruition too. So, but anyway, I wanted to have that conversation. We've had it before. I just wanted to have it again, like on camera, because I do think it's relatable to a lot of people. Because I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, fellas. I feel like it's a lot of niggas out there who use bitches and hoes in their everyday vocabulary, and don't really think twice about it. I do also feel like there are a lot of men who refuse to use those words because they do feel like it's disrespectful, and I can't really disagree with them either. I'm just saying, like, I say it because sometimes it's the way that I talk. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, you know, but the times that it is, like, I'm gonna just say the shit. But anyway, so the real topic, the actual topic was body shaming, because I was in this group chat that my man right here introduced me to, and it's also like this girl basically said that I had fatphobia, which I didn't even know was a word or a thing, right? Is it a thing? Have you heard of it? Mm-hmm. Have you?
No.
Have you?
You're scared of fat people?
That's what she said. I mean,
well, it's been determined that phobia doesn't only mean that you're afraid of something. Because I asked that about homophobia at one point. Because I'm like, I'm not scared of gay people. Like, why is it saying phobia? When you look it up, it's more so like a dislike and a lot of other stuff that goes along with it.
Okay. So I forget what conversation that we was having. I think it was a fupa versus fuda.
Fuda, yeah.
What's fuda?
Fat over dick area.
Fat under
a belly dick. I call it a belly dick.
A belly dick.
Fuda, fupa.
So, so like we was having like a conversation in the chat or whatever, and again, like I say what I think or whatever, right? And
over and over.
They talking about they talking because like and all right, so when it's a few BB dubs in the vicinity in proximity, I kind of feel like sometimes like niggas do this thing where.
What do you feel like? Let's not talk about other men.
Well, let me produce this, right? But I feel like sometimes niggas do this, and I could be niggas like at some point in time. I feel like sometimes niggas say things or do things when women are around that maybe they don't 100% think or believe in, but they know that the women may fall into this particular category, so they're gonna like big up it just for the look at that particular point in time. I just believe that. I don't know how true that might be. That's what I believe. So it's a couple of big chicks in the group chat.
Appreciate you using the word chick. Thank you.
What was I gonna say?
Bitches.
Oh, see, I didn't even think. If I would have thought it, I would have said it. But I honestly,
you knew you would not have said big bitches.
It's a couple of big bitches in the group chat.
Before.
It's some big bitches in the group chat.
That's a damn shame.
But nah, it's some big girls in there, and they was talking about, they was just kind of like talking about like body sizes, and somebody asked me what my type was, and I'm like, here we go again with this bullshit or whatever. And before I ever even get to answer what my type is, like there's always somebody else answering what my type is. Mm-hmm. And then it's like I'm automatically like behind this 8-ball because now I gotta go on defense mode of like why is my type the exact opposite of all the bitches in the group chat? Like that's pretty much like how it always happens. So somebody says Jaxon don't like big stomachs. Jaxon don't like fupas or some shit like that. So I'm like, all right, here we go. And they was like, damn, like, so what you like? Or why don't you like fupas or whatever? And I, just basically start saying like what my type is and what I would prefer. And, it just didn't happen to fall in the category of chicks with stomachs or whatever. Which I feel like that's cool. Like if that's what I like why does that matter? Like to anybody else and shit like that. So I have to get into like now explaining like why I like what I like or why I don't like what I don't like. And I guess like the reasoning that I'm using is so straightforward or so honest that now this girl basically says like I have fatphobia. And like now I'm like directly insulting people in the group chat. And
Did
I don't
they kick
really
you
understand.
out?
What was that?
Did they kick you out the group?
No, they ain't kicked me out. Not yet. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get kicked out.
You ain't gonna get kicked out.
But
Keep adding
I got him.
but it kind of made, and we always have this conversation, or I always spark the conversation when they start talking about this body shaming shit, because I'm at a loss. I'm confused as to what body shaming really is, because there was a point in time where you could say the word fat. I don't even know if you can say that no more. But there are people who are fat. It's like if you say something that's a fact, but that fact hurts another person's feelings, then we label it body shaming. But it's like, my nigga, you are 400 pounds. So like, are you or are you not 400 pounds?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you are 400 pounds, do we all have to ignore the elephant in the room? And that's no pun. That's no. That's
good. That's friends body shaming.
That's no pun intended. But I was just like, yo, like, what is this? And then, it was like how you make the person feel, but like, I don't control how you feel about something that I see as a truth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you tell me, damn, Jax, you 250 pounds. I'll be like, damn, that hurt my feelings. But then I get on the scale and I'm 250. Are you really body shaming me? Or are you just telling me some true shit? So, like, what do y'all even think body shaming is? Like, what's y'all definition? Listen, like, if we could just start there. And have y'all ever been body shamed? Do you feel like you've been body shamed? And if you do, what was that experience? Why is that funny?
The two big girls. I'm messing with you, Jaxon. I don't, I guess it's fat people who don't want to be told they're fat. I know I'm fat, I'll say it all the time. I'm back on my bike to lose weight because I'm fat. There's no way around it. So I never got it, understood it. I'm a person who has preferences. I don't like no fat big dude.
You about to say nigga.
Yeah, I was about
I don't
to
like
say,
no fat nigga.
I'm good. Like, we both can't be big, No, we both can't be big, and I'm just not attracted to, big guys, like with big stomachs and all of that. So I don't get upset when a guy has a preference to what he likes. I mean, we all have preferences. So I've been called Big John. This one guy called me Chunky Trunks. And I thought it was cute. I gave him my number. He's like, Chunky Trunks. I thought it was cute. But it's men out there who do like bigger women. So I feel like it's it's to me it just comes down to a lack of confidence in the person who feels some type of way. My daughter's grandmother told me, she said, Lauren, because I always went up and down in my weight. I always was a big girl. I can't get but so small. And she said, Lauren, when I first met you, you walked in the room, into the room, you were like a size 6. So I've always had confidence. Like, I don't care, big, small, you're going to get this, what I got to give you, and you're going to like it. So I never had a problem with confidence.
That sound a little rapey, but
it's never been a man that I've wanted that I've not gotten at any size. So I feel like it's just a confidence thing. So I feel like women who get offended by it is because they're, to me, in my experience, most of them really aren't confident, in the skin they're in. And if you're not, then do something about it.
Yeah. So you don't think you've ever been body shamed?
I mean,
or do you even believe in
I don't
term?
even know. Like, I really, it's like kind of foreign to me because
you come from the era where niggas can say whatever, like, and that's just what it is. I feel like too.
Yeah, but I never like body shame who said, "Ooh, Lauren, I don't like you because of your." I've never experienced it, so I don't know. If a guy said he had a preference, it didn't bother me.
Right.
So I didn't care because I have a preference. So
right.
like, I don't like big girls and I don't like big niggas. So we even. So, I mean, I can dig it, brother. You know, so, I mean, how can I get mad at somebody for having a preference when I have a preference? Yeah. You know?
Yeah. I've always been on the thicker side of things. You know, even in my teenage years, I've always had very, very thick thighs, and it wasn't until I got older that I got a gut. But as far as body shaming, definition to me is when someone is intentionally trying to make you feel bad about your appearance for whatever reason. You know, they want you to feel, think about the words like fat shaming. They're trying to make you feel shameful because you're overweight, or in their eyes overweight. There are women that are a size 2 and 3 that might have a little pooch, and their man will say, "You're fat." And it's like, I'm a size 2. Right. What are you talking about? So, you know, fat shaming to me definitively is someone trying to make you feel shameful for being over the standard weight for your height. You know, that whole chart. Now, see, what's X amount of pounds for this height.
What's the difference between, because you said when people try to make you feel bad for being overweight, but like, what's the difference between somebody trying to make you feel bad for being overweight versus someone just acknowledging that, hey, that person's a little overweight? You get what I'm saying? Because like, I feel like that's a really, really thin line, and it's normally determined by the person on the receiving end. Right. But like, I don't think that's fair. I don't think, like, because then I have no freedom to really say anything. Like, I can't really say anything because like, you're only gonna feel the way that you're gonna feel after I say whatever it is that I'm gonna say. So I don't know what's gonna happen after whatever comes out of my mouth. It all depends on like how you feel about it.
Like, I mean, you know if I'm asking you, you know, hey Jaxon, do you think I look okay in this dress, or do you think I look okay in these pants? And you say, well, you know, you look a little fat here. Then that's on me, because I asked for your opinion about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But if I'm walking down the street and we're meeting up somewhere, and I'm like, hey, it's good to see you. Hey, Nick, it's good to see you too. You looking a little fat. I'll be like, hi. You know, like, what makes you the judge of my appearance? Like, why should I entrust your perception of my appearance? Why should I take that into account of my everyday? You know what I mean? Like, what would be the purpose of you saying, hey, Nick, good to see you. You look a little fat. Like, why would someone say that?
Now, say, but what if they said, substitute fat with what's something else we use?
Big?
No. Plump? We use thick as an umbrella. We use thick as an umbrella term.
But thick is a...
is a what?
Thick. Some of these girls who call themselves thick, no, sis, you're fat.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, no, you're not thick, you're fat.
But that's what I'm saying though, because thick so like, fat. So
no, thick ain't fat.
Thick is a
thick ain't fat.
Thick is a
thick is universal now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I always use the term 90s, or like when a woman. Can I say big? Can I
say what you want.
Get on your entertainment chair.
Yes.
When a big tell me she thick, but all her pictures is from up here. I don't know, bruh. But I always ask, like, are you 90s thick, or are you like 2019 thick? Because there's a difference.
But I think that with the urban slang, right?
Get in your Caucasian vocab.
The Ebonics and the Ebonics language. Thick is defined as something positive, and fat will never be something, you know what I mean? Like a positive attribute, so to speak.
Right.
To call someone fat is a negative thing.
Why?
But there are men who specifically like fat women. But
even men who like fat women will now say, I like a SS BBW.
What the fuck is SS?
That's the supersized BBW.
Like McDonald's.
What's a?
That's a shit.
I'll give you all of the terminology.
I ain't never heard that.
SBBW or SS BBW.
Impala.
Yeah, that's a fucking car. Damn, you
It is what it is.
Big body.
You an automobile. that sounds more body shaming than
That's
anything
usually
else.
like 400 pounds and up. SFBBW is about 400 pounds and up. 350, somewhere around there sometimes too.
Y'all find it interesting that when you hear the term body shaming, like it's only in regards to weight? You ever thought about that?
No. I've
Well,
never
let
thought
me
about
tell
it.
you. It's like,
Q Miles.
no, I do. It's funny because we do hear that all the time, and we've had the conversation. Remember, we was talking about it in the group, and it was like, somebody mentioned little dicks or something like that, and it was like, well, that's body shaming. And the girl's like, no, I'm just telling the truth. And Jackson's like,
I was right there because I don't really never respond. I really never respond, but like I'm always like lurking, and I'm always waiting for like that end to like start a conversation or to start some kind of dialogue. Yeah, and was I offended? No, I wasn't offended. I just like I said, I want the.
I know he liked to argue.
Was it a trigger when you heard that? Was it a trigger?
It was a trigger for me because of the unfairness of the argument. That's what triggered me. Like that triggers me. Like, I mean, if you say my dick's small, like, all right, cool. But like, if we arguing or we debating or some shit, like, nah, like now I'm triggered because like, don't come to me with these bullshit arguments when like it's mad loopholes in your fucking argument.
It's a double standard.
It is. It definitely is. And it would be cool if they could just acknowledge that there's a double standard. But some people can't even acknowledge, like when people don't acknowledge like their privilege, like that's what makes people upset. Like we all see that you have privilege. Just acknowledge it. That's all. Like when people don't acknowledge that shit, that's what triggers me. So that's why I was triggered about it. And I'm gonna fucking make that every time I'm gonna chime in like, oh, y'all niggas body shaming again. And that's the weird thing because women really don't think that that's body shaming. When in my opinion, that's probably more body shaming than the fat thing because you can lose fat. You can't grow dick. Like, you know what I mean? Like can you? You gotta what you got? What you got?
Nick, that shit be working.
What you got?
I be looking like, man, that shit don't work. People be probably trying hard
About
too.
the only thing that's on the market. Well, there's a few things that's on the market. There's dick pumps that you can.
You said
pump
bumps or pumps? Oh,
like pumps in the bump.
Okay, hurt.
You stupid.
Like MC Hammer pumps in the bump.
Yo, somebody posted a video. This nigga was in that video with a fucking thong.
Yes, he was. Yes, you were Hammer, and you looked great.
I used to love that song.
He looked great. He looked great.
I wonder what the R-rated version of it was. Did it have bitches in it?
You saw the video.
Yeah, but the video come on TV, which is through that like.
Got like a BET uncut.
I don't think they had an uncut back then. I'm sure it was an uncut, but probably not filmed.
No, because Luke used to be wildin', so
they Hammer say
definitely
bitches?
had to-
I don't remember.
I know Luke did. You listen to Luke? Mm-hmm.
Uncle Luke.
You listen to Luke.
Go.
But there are a couple things on the market. There's a pump, penis dick pumps, that when you insert your penis inside of it and you pump it, it'll make your penis swell to the size of the pump 8 times out of 10. And if you continue to do that, what happens is it stretches your skin a little bit. You don't gain a lot of inches from it. You can gain girth from it. And there's also like different thickening creams that when you rub them, massage them into your dick, it will make your dick a little bit bigger. It like swells it up a little bit. And then you also have cock rings that will make your dick look bigger too.
That definitely
sounds
painful.
painful.
That sounds painful.
Wait,
I'm sorry. How do y'all feel about little dicks? Tell the truth.
I mean, somebody is taking it.
Not me, but somebody.
I mean, every guy I've had sex with didn't have a huge dick.
Right.
I just got my first big dick a couple years ago. Like a big dick, like damn, look at this dick. I just got one. Like, I mean, most of the guys I ever dealt with had, like, I've never been with a person with a really small penis, and I just dealt with somebody with a really big dick.
Wait. When it's small. Wait. Let me get this joke off. Let me get this joke off. So when it's small, why you gotta call it a penis, and when it's big, you call it a dick? Like,
Yes.
So what you're telling me is, if a girl ever refers to mine as a penis, then I should.
No, because I call dicks peens. So I say penis sometimes. I always say peen. I say peen and coo. So,
What was the other one?
coo. Coochie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, sometimes I say penis too, but his is a dilzy.
So wait, give us more. Tell us more.
No, it's just, I mean, but.
Was this your reaction? That was your reaction?
When I saw it?
Yeah. Take us there. Tell a story.
Oh, so the first time we had sex, I really wasn't physically attracted to him. What I was attracted to.
Why not?
Because I didn't like how his face looked. I didn't like how his face looked. But I'm at the age where I'm like, Lauren, you know, everybody's not going to be a looker. You know, you got to start getting to know a person for their insides and all of that. So I said,
and then he got to know your insides.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. So continue telling us this story about this gigantor dick you encountered.
Gigantor.
It was the T-Rex of dicks.
So his arms were short though?
No, his arms weren't short.
Yo, I fucked this bitch with short arms. Did you hear that episode?
No.
Oh. Yeah. No, dead ass. Her arms were. She had some kind of like. It was called like T-Rexitis or some shit like that.
Was she a
Nigga,
little
that ain't
person?
no thing.
What?
Was she a little person?
No, she was regular height. You know, for
Short
a girl or whatever. Yeah, her arms were really, really like. Her arms are like the length of like if your arm stopped at your elbow, but it's a hand on it. It's a hand on the elbow.
Strong hand, John.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you did that.
I didn't know they were short until they were on my penis. So.
How did you not know they were short? You didn't look at
Look
it?
at that bitch's arms, nigga.
Did it all in one.
Come on, Jaxon.
When you ever heard a nigga say, damn, look at them forearms?
But if it's shorter, you're going to see it. You can see a girl's fupa. You can see his short arms.
Well, the way that she was taking her pictures, this was a while back. Exactly.
What is self-esteem?
Yo, we short arm shaming, my nigga. Chill out.
Okay. Get serious.
But anyway.
T-Rexitis.
Selfie stick-itis.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, her arms were short though. It was like an actual like, it was a medical thing. Like it was a thing.
You asked her about it?
No. She told me about it after I seen her.
Uh-huh.
Cause she was like, I'm sure you're wondering, you know, why I've got half an arm here.
You had sex with her?
What was that?
You had sex with her?
Yeah, from the back. No, and this is how I've noticed. Cause like when I be here from the back, sometimes I like to grab the arms. I couldn't reach them.
It was like,
Where were they?
They were, you know,
short.
yeah.
They were on her sides.
It was like she was scared to go over the middle. Like, she didn't want to catch the rock.
Tied pinky John.
Anyway, man,
I'm surprised your little finicky ass, your dick got hard.
I didn't know they were. I didn't know.
But you still hit.
Well, I was in the middle of it.
But wait, when you saw her, like if she was walking down the street, her arms wasn't visible?
No, like, well, first of all, she came over at night or whatever, and she probably had on like a cardigan or something. I don't know.
So this was a first date type of thing, like talk to somebody on an app and then
Yeah, it was on some hoe shit.
Oh, okay.
Like on my behalf,
All
like
right.
not on her behalf. Like I was in my whole phase or whatever
Okay.
you want to call it. And she came over. She drove an SUV, so she had like a full armed vehicle.
Boom, boom.
And yeah, no. So she came over. I was in like my little like POF phase or whatever. Did y'all have that?
Plenty of fish. Yes.
Yeah. No. You just be on relationship shit. You one of them? Yeah, that mean you be fucking. So
That mean what?
What?
What you say?
That mean you be fucking.
You just said I'll be on relationship shit, right?
I asked you, and then you took a pause for like 4
No, I
seconds.
mean you got to be on a dating site to be. I mean that means if you're not on a dating site, you're into relationship shit.
No, but it's just like I mean, I don't know. So it depends on the woman.
Instagram is a dating site.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Yeah, it is. Now with that video calling,
People use LinkedIn as a damn dating site, so
Yeah.
it's no holds barred out here.
I
Yep.
guess.
I've gotten some
Like, I see you're a
doozies off of
professional and-
Instagram.
you got some peen pics off of Instagram.
I've gotten peen pics off of Instagram.
How do you feel about dick pics?
I mean,
I like them.
You're a creeper.
I like dick pics. I mean, but all we do is put them in
In the group chat,
You should
that's
see
real.
me. You should see me in Nick's info on our text message. Woo.
Let me apologize anyone who's watching this that fucks with me and you sent me a dick pic. She has seen them.
That's
My
crazy.
apologies.
Y'all trash.
But you don't know who it is. It's
Right.
just a picture of a dick.
Right.
And men
Oh,
don't.
like niggas,
That's pretty.
niggas
face.
niggas don't send like full body.
I mean, I seen it,
Not
and
often.
they don't know how to pose.
They just stand there like it's like they prop the phone up on something and they just stand there like
Because we got like this random stick sticking out of our body. That's all we
they don't
got.
get their hands on their hips. The curve.
They don't do nothing like they don't do. They
They
just
just stand there like
I mean, what should they do? Well, like, what would y'all prefer? Like, what pose?
I prefer laying down. Like lay down on the bed or something.
On your back?
yeah, hot. They can't lay on their stomach. Their dick is right there. How we gonna get the?
I mean,
pic?
they might have a hole in their mattress. Like, it could be like.
Oh, Jackson.
Nigga,
I'm not messing with nobody with a hole in their mattress.
yo. That should probably
Okay?
whole
Okay.
probably stink.
But no, I prefer because you actually get a good
I don't want to see your face.
like okay, so let's go back to some of the body shaming, right?
Okay.
How you say some women we do because I'm certainly guilty of it too.
I'm
We
hitting
take
angles.
the high angle. The high angle eliminates double chin. It slims your face out. It slims your body out.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, there's a such thing as dick fishing with these dick pics too.
Oh, tell us more.
Guys will take pictures on angles that make themselves look really, really, really big, and they're really, really, really not.
I actually try to take angles where it makes my shit look small. So then in person, it's like, oh shit, you're not that terrible.
Good job.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
But I'm also like I don't send. I'm not a frequent. Like dick pics aren't really my thing. That's not my thing.
What
But
about
when
dick
I-
print pics?
I don't really have many gray sweatpants. Like I'm more of a
Do
black.
they have to be gray?
I mean, unless you got fucking 20/24 vision, like how you gonna see? I mean, I don't know.
Well, if your dick is big enough, you can see it through
Well,
anything.
my dick don't print through black, so sorry.
Okay.
But no, like I'm more of a canvas guy. I'm a whole canvas guy. Like,
For
I don't know.
yourself?
yeah, I mean, if I'm
a
a
lot of
send,
pictures?
like if I'm gonna send something, like I want to give you a little bit of context. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
Like no, because this is
Just
like
send the dick
personally.
pic.
Well, no, but I'm saying like, but personally, like I don't like vagina by itself. So like I can't see, and then everything I hear, like in the world, like women don't even like getting dick pics for real. Like
And Miles, what about you being married? Do you and your wife like exchange
why did they get us
pictures?
devilish smirk?
Because man, I have quite the collection. Lately, I've been taking pictures more actually, so Yeah, I don't know. We do from time to time. Like, hey, look at this. Can't wait to see you. Nah, I mean, it wasn't a big thing. I didn't do it for a long time in general. At first, it was just like I had some reservations, but
About sending your wife dick pics?
no, I'm talking about just taking pictures in general. Just taking pictures in general of my meat stuff because I just used to think it was weird when I was younger. Like, why am I doing this? But now that I've gotten older and I've evolved, life has changed. So, yeah, the stuff like that is like damn near second nature. And this is why we have the secure folder on the phone because I have children. So, you know, I got to put that shit in the tuck. But, yeah, man, the picture, it's interesting to actually hear it. Well, see, like, listening to y'all talk about, you know, yeah, we liked it because a lot of, well, I guess it depends because a lot of women don't like the random dick pics. So they don't like the...
Yes.
Hi, how you doing today?
And if I don't like you,
boom, and it's like, damn, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want you to send that. You know, that's when there's a problem. But there are a lot of people who do like and enjoy that stuff. I just like looking. So I'm gonna be happy either way. But I think women can do that, men can't. You can't just send the unsolicited joy. Like, nah. Yeah. But women, they can send all day because dudes be happy every time. Like,
if it's big enough, you can send.
We love that joint.
Thank you.
But
thank you very much.
It's a lot of double standards, man. And some of them you just some you just gotta roll with. Some you gonna argue about. Some you gonna be like, you know, it is what it is. We win this one. They win that one.
It's not gonna be fair. It's not gonna be even kill because where men and women aren't equal. Yeah. I believe.
I don't believe that even. That's another thing I was just talking about. I'm getting tired of all the equality stuff. Not like in workplace and all that, but like women and men aren't made to be equal. We're not supposed to be
we're
equal.
The balance. We balance.
There's no reason that I want what you're doing or you want to do what I do and I do what you do because we're just not made that way. But
exactly.
In today's world,
can y'all like state some specifics so we can talk?
I mean,
well, we're not getting back to my first encounter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get that out the way.
Okay.
So, oh boy, he seemed like he really liked me, but he just really wanted to sleep with me. But
I'm gonna come back to that.
He put in enough work for me, so I'm like, okay. But he came over my house one day and he tried to kiss me, and I was like, I'm not kissing him because I didn't.
Because I'm from Philly.
Because I didn't like how his face looked. I love to kiss. Excuse me, that's my twist.
He always be saying that.
But
all my Jones kiss me.
I'm not from Philly, and I love to kiss too.
I
like kissing too, and all my Philly Jones from the past, they like to kiss too.
Yeah, like I don't know what Jaxon. This is what I'm saying.
What?
That's why I was trying to get you kisses and all of that. I'm like, he's not getting it.
Stop calling girls bitches and
right.
Yeah, maybe they'll kiss you. Oh, all right.
But what I liked about him was he was tall. He wasn't ugly. I just wasn't really attracted to his face.
That sounded like ugly to me, but
no, he wasn't. He's not an ugly guy, but at the time, he didn't do it for me. But he was a nice guy. He was nice enough for me to talk to. So of course he started talking about sex and everything. You want to come over? I'm like, okay.
Wait. You said something else as to why you did like him though.
He was tall, 6'4". So
Ooh.
I like tall men. Mm-hmm. That's a preference of mine.
Okay. Good.
I'm not saying I won't date anyone shorter, but it's a preference.
You don't gotta
and I'm not ashamed of my preference. Okay? Thank you.
Right.
So you know, we was fishing. So we started talking about sex. I'm like, here we go. So
what was y'all talking about? How did that
I can't remember, Jaxon. It was a while ago, but we just were talking about, I guess, little preferences. And I said something about my period being on because he was fishing to get some coup. So he's like, so something about running red lights or something. He's like, you talk shit like, ugh. So he wanted me to come over, and I could tell by the conversation he wanted to have sex. But I went over there because I knew my period was,
How bloody do you be?
I wasn't super. It was on the out, so it wasn't like I was heavy, but it was enough to wear a pad. Where if he tried, he'd feel that pad and be like, oh, So
I ain't never fucked on a period before.
You never. There's a lot of things you haven't done. So I'm like,
what is that?
So I went over his house thinking that my pad would be my barrier, and I I mean, he was just like nonstop, like coming. So I said, let me just let him run this little red light so he can just, just here. Let me just get him off my back.
Do you take the pad out?
Yeah, I just took my panties down.
So you didn't take the pad out?
No, I didn't take the pad out.
So
you know what?
A pad, not a tampon, bro.
It's not a pad goes on your panties. A tampon is inside.
Oh, like
of
a
you.
line. Okay.
Yeah, so I didn't have a tampon on. So really, what it was, he just.
So it's like a pussy
I'm
net.
surprised you didn't.
Yes.
You didn't.
No, I stay away from that shit. I don't know about it.
You never had to go to the store to get none, huh?
So we ended up having sex, and I didn't really see his dick. So you know how, because it was like him on me, like let him get off so we can get this out the way and I can just finally just leave him alone because it's going to be bad. But I know, that's what I said, but sometimes let me just let this guy get some so he can be off me, and this will probably make him not want to, both of us.
Jesus, I don't
So
know.
he's on me, so I never touched it or anything because I wasn't even... I wasn't attracted to him, but when he put that dick in, I was like, hello. Woo! And then the shit was...
You Ric Flaired it?
No, I didn't.
That big deep breath.
Yeah. So then, now we're having sex. Yeah, I Ric Flaired it. So now we're doing it, and we started kissing, and he ended up being a good kisser. So
did you close your eyes so you couldn't see his face?
Yeah, I did close my eyes so I didn't see his face.
Sound like you got sucked in.
But once we did it, I was like, oh man, this gonna be a problem. So after that, I liked him a little bit. Like, okay, he a little cute.
Changed the whole view.
That's hilarious.
He a little cute.
Man had a different face when she came out of his mini face god.
Damn. I don't think my dick ever made my face look different.
Change your whole persona.
So after that, we went at it on and off for a couple of years, but I mean, we had just a really good strong sexual chemistry, but I just didn't like him as a person. So
when did you know you didn't like him as a person?
When his face went back?
Maybe 6 months. 6 months into it, he was a liar, and then what frustrated me about him, and what I think most men think, are that women can't just want you just for sex. I think he thought that I wanted more from him.
After you found out you didn't like him, like how much longer did you fuck with him?
A couple years.
I mean, if it was just sexual, I can understand that. It was was it just sexual?
Sent that fire dick pic.
That's craziness, man.
No, he did it because, I would say, don't call me, leave me. If you see me, just act like we never met, and he would never not call me because we had like he might go a couple weeks, a month, then we would go maybe a 2 month run. Then I would get sick of him. He would say something stupid, and then I would be done. And then, he'll do shit like send me the dick pic and like, Lord have mercy. Let me re-eval this whole situation. And it wasn't like I was sleeping with, a whole bunch of people. It was him.
Why y'all be scared of just getting some new dick?
Who's scared?
Who's scared?
You sounded scared from that story. Like what? Why wouldn't you just get a new person?
Because it's not that easy. I mean, I'm selective. Like, and when you have a dick that big, that sex so good, it's like, what's the point? A new headache.
You didn't like him you said he was a shitty person.
Yeah, but I like the sex. I only wanted to have sex. So if I met somebody new that I liked, I would have to not mess with him. I didn't want to not mess with him. It was a little game we played too. Then we see each other and go,
I don't understand. I've never played that game.
Yeah, so but out of that, you got that I was scared to get new dick. No, I'm just not trying to fuck a whole bunch of person.
It's just because you said you wasn't messing with a bunch of people, so it came off, I guess, like that to him. I didn't get that,
No.
but he got that.
I hear that a lot.
Because
I want to raise my body count.
at this, yeah, like at a certain age, you like number one, I'm a business owner, so
what the fuck do that got to do with anything?
I'm fucking busy, Jaxon. I'm a single mom and I own a business.
Oh, I thought you meant like you can't fuck more people because you own a business.
So I'm saying I'm busy. I'm running a business. Like I'm running my company. Like how you're doing all this shit by yourself, I'm doing that 16 hours a day on top of being a mom and everything. So
and I don't fuck now, so I get it.
Right, but you're not fucking because you're busy. You're not.
How you gonna tell me? How you know?
Are you not fucking because you're busy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, perfect.
All right.
Well, you understand.
Find that perfect scene.
So yeah, so it was just like it was good for the time.
Are you laughing at me?
Yeah. You're an idiot.
That's my
You should just make that the main picture
Fucking retard,
for the video.
yo.
So it was that. But after last year, I just deaded it. Like I can't.
Was it just last year?
Yeah.
He was also
last year.
Last summer, that's the nigga you had me taking pictures with you for?
It was him and a couple other people.
Get the fuck out of it.
Don't you hate stuff like that?
That shit ain't.
This nigga?
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. You got this nigga looking at the pics like, man, my dick bigger than his. Like, what?
No, I'm sure he wasn't saying that.
No. A man with a big dick is not worried about nobody else's dick because he know his dick is big.
Penis power.
That's hilarious.
And he did not have big dick energy either. I did not get that.
Oh, why would you say that? What is that? What is that?
Confidence.
It's a certain type of confidence.
What is it?
It's a confidence.
Explain it.
It's like you the way you talk to women, the way you sometimes it's a walk. Sometimes you can look at a man and know his dick is big.
And you believe that?
I've like I know he has a big dick, and then somebody who I know fucked him or whatever, like his dick is big. Or the guy might send me a picture. I might not have sex with him, but it's like, yeah.
You know what's funny to me about that is
You're sounding like the hate is coming.
no, I'm just saying. I make observations. Okay. What's funny about that is because I am on a show with two women who talk about this frequently, and I follow a lot of women. They talk about it like that's all they fucking do is talk about the shit, right? But then like if somebody has quote unquote big dick energy, but then they actually see his dick and it's not big, they're still mad about it. So like.
Because the energy don't match. Yeah,
but then you're saying that it's a swag, it's a confidence. So then you're kind of like indirectly telling somebody to, hey, don't have that confidence.
No.
If your dick don't match.
No, I'm not saying that.
Women,
because I like that confidence is like even if you don't have a big dick, and I've never like I said this penis that I had was the biggest I've ever had, but on average, most of the guys are like average or have, nice penises, but, and it doesn't matter. Like that confidence is what draws you in. So even if he doesn't have a dick that's 10 inches long, then, it doesn't, that confidence is what makes you attracted to him. Like a relationship I was in, didn't have a big dick, but he had that confidence that was just even more, made me more attracted to him. So, it made, when we had sex, it was still big because the confidence in there, like real like A type. Like,
confidence made it grow.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, just like woman.
Yeah, it's right? But most men can't handle confident women.
Wait, say that again? I'm sorry.
Like, isn't there equivalent of confident women?
What was that?
A lot of men don't like women who are too confident. They
wait a
minute.
You down. You guys are saying two things that I want to tackle.
Okay.
Say that.
Go ahead.
I didn't even get to talk about my other. What's the name?
No,
go ahead. I'm listening.
I want to give Miles the floor.
No, we like confident women. I don't know where that came from. Like, we don't like confident women. The problem is that a lot of times there's a certain confidence in the beginning that kind of goes away after a certain time, and it's like, well, what happened? And now we got to deal with the confidence goes away sometimes, And I think that's where the problem lies because, like, we love confidence. I don't want to deal with nobody that's not confident. But the confidence fades away after a while because it's like, what happened to, you know, there's a time when you meet a woman and it's kind of like they act as if or like they can't be stopped. And it's like, I am a goddess and I'm the shit, I'm this, I'm that. And then you'll get in a relationship and then it's like not somebody else comes along, but other people are around or something and they become a threat. What happened to that kind of confidence? Where did that go? No, like, that's the problem with that I've seen in certain people in their relationships because it's like, when I first met you, you were like this glowing example of, you know, nothing's going to stop me from getting you or being with you or being in a relationship with you. And then you get in a relationship and now you're worried about everything else.
Well, that doesn't mean, to me, that doesn't sound like confidence. That means she just really wanted you and she was going to do what she did.
Right, but there's a confidence in that.
Yeah, but that doesn't, is a confidence in getting you, but that doesn't mean she's a confident woman because a confident woman is not going to care about no other woman being around.
Well, that depends because women are funny.
Well, I feel like sometimes the word confidence is like, I don't think that's what I feel like confidence is very quiet. I feel like confidence is I feel like some people have inner confidence and then some people display outer confidence, which to me isn't really confident. And I think that's what a lot of women do.
Yeah, the outward confidence is the shield.
A lot of women that I observe that say that they're confident.
But I told you it would. Stop messing with it. Can you go back so we can finish? Thank you. I'm about to just put him on the mic. Like, what do you think about confident women?
I feel like a lot of women who say that they're confident or they say that, you know, I'm this and I'm that, that's like a telltale sign of like you're really not, because you have to announce it. Like you have to, like, why do you have to announce all of your accomplishments? Why do you have to announce all of your accolades? Why do you have to announce all of the things that you've achieved? Like,
well, if y'all talking about it and she's being asked about it, then...
No, but niggas don't. I mean, I ain't never asked a woman like, "Hey, so tell me about all of your achievements."
Well, not in that way, Jaxon.
No, but what I'm saying is like that's not that's not a thing that niggas is really interested in. Like, niggas ain't interested in like what you do and.
But Jaxon, I don't know, because sometimes I think you're off the mark. Just like when you and I were going back about, do women compete, and you were saying women don't compete, and I'm like. I did a poll on my Instagram and was like, yeah, women do compete for men.
Compete
no, but they don't.
Up until a certain point.
But women will never say that, is what I'm saying. They'll never just outwardly say like it's so many. I mean, we might just probably have like different timelines.
Right.
Or whatever. But I see all day like women talking about how like there is no competition, like ain't no bitches competing with me. Like,
that's the outward confidence.
That's what I'm saying.
But inward is different, bro. The fiercest competition for women to me is on the way into a relationship. When they're trying to get you, they'll do anything if they want to be with you.
Yeah. And
then once they got you, the competition is over. And that's when it becomes, that's when they get comfortable. It's like most people, men and women do that. They do everything to get you, and then once they there, it's like, all right, I'm here now, so it is what it is. On to the next. But I think that is the fiercest time of competition because I specifically remember having a conversation with one of my best friends about when he was dealing with somebody and it had to do with like sex and stuff. When the shit was like amazing when you're not my girl, when I'm not with you, when we're not supposed to be doing this shit. And then I say, come on, be my girl. And that shit just dropped 3 levels. Because now there's nobody to compete with because I'm at the top. Yeah. That's the competition. That's the competition that I see. I can't speak for women, but that's the things that I've seen and I've talked about, I've had conversation about. They definitely be competing though. As much as they say they're not, they are. And the reason they keep saying that they're not is because they are. But I gotta make it look like I don't give a fuck about none of y'all bitches. Excuse my French. But when women speak like that, that's, I think that's a lot of times what it is. It is a competition. Life is a competition for a lot of people.
Yeah, I feel it.
The thing about a lot of women is they don't want to say
Later.
that they're competing. They don't know. They have this feeling. They have this drive. They have this urge, but they don't know how to put their finger on what it is exactly. So you're going to hear a lot of women like, I don't compete with no other woman, but you do.
Mm-hmm.
You do. You just don't know what to call it. You know what I mean? Like you know the feeling, you know the sensations, you know they know jealousy. You know, like it's very easy to identify jealousy, very easy, but they don't know how to recognize competition, like really put their finger on it.
So I don't mind. I think maybe some people are scared to acknowledge competition because then there's a possibility of you losing. You know what I'm saying? And then how do you deal with that? How do you deal with when you're in a competition that you don't win? Like now you have to like look in the mirror and be like, damn, like how come I didn't win that shit? Like what's going on with me? Like how come, like how come I didn't come out victorious? Like, and then that might open up a whole other bag of like self-awareness.
Because he
or
wasn't for you. It wasn't a person for you, so.
That's a cop-out.
That's not a cop-out.
That is a cop-out.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is, because sometimes, because
if you were for,
you
if
could also say that you can also be the same person to say how somebody else isn't good enough for you.
What?
So like that means like sometimes the other person can't, like you said, they're just not for you, but
right.
People also think that like people don't measure up to them. That's something that they can change. So that don't mean like to me, like when I hear they're not for you, like that's just like on some meant to be type shit. But maybe if they were a better person, or if they did better, or if you saw them in a better light, or if you thought that they were better, then maybe you'd be like, oh shit, well maybe they are for me. So it's not like, I don't think it's something that's just like destined.
But compatibility plays a major part in what's for you is for you. Like if you're not compatible, for instance, I was dating this guy, and he was very, very hotep-ish.
We'll be out of pocket.
And I'm not, but we got along very, very well. Sex was great, conversation was great. He met another woman in another state who was very hotep-ish. You know what I mean? And I happened to find out that they were seeing each other through social media. Saw them at a party, hugged up together, dancing. Talked to my girlfriend like, I can't believe, you know what I mean? Like all this time, we spent all this time, da da da. And she's like, she was more his fit. Like you weren't the fit. Right. Like your time together was great, but you just didn't, it wasn't for you. Like he wasn't for you. And I'm like, you know what? That's right. You can't fit a square peg into a round hole. You can. I have lube if you like to try. But,
it's stupid, man.
But, at the end of the day, compatibility plays a major part into what is for you. You know what I mean? Kind of like your finances also, even though that's more structured. You want a BMW. Your salary can't afford that BMW. You know what I mean? So you can go and buy this car that you can't afford, and bust your ass to keep this car that you can't afford. But it's ultimately not for you. In some way, shape, or form, you're not going to be able to hold on to it for a long time because it's just not for you because you're doing way too much for it.
I get that.
It should be somewhat effortless.
Right.
I get that.
I don't think something not being for you is a cop-out. It's just not for you because if it was for you, it would be yours.
All right. Damn. We got to get back on this body shaming shit.
You can call this the general episode.
Yo. I'm gonna let you take the reins for a second.
Talk about anything.
Because I do feel like when we talk about body shaming, we normally just think that it's talking about people who are overweight And it's like that's the only thing that body shaming is usually geared towards. And I feel like there's definitely dick shaming and there's definitely height shaming, as Lauren had mentioned earlier, where she prefers tall guys. And I feel like there's a lot of women who like are on this wave. I don't even know if it's a wave or it's just always been a thing. But I've never really met any woman who prefers a guy under 6 foot. Like that's like been the thing for like a couple years. Like, oh, if you tell me you 5 something, like you my girlfriend, you ain't my boyfriend or some shit like that. Like if your height start with 5, I'm automatically like, ugh, like, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all seen those fucking memes, no?
No.
Yes.
Oh my god, no?
No.
Are you kidding?
All right, so
I've seen them in profiles, but I haven't seen them in any memes.
there's total disrespect of the short man in America.
Talk your shit.
No, the body shaming though, I think that, you know, it's funny that, like you said, we talk about a lot of people who are big and stuff like that, and I don't really get triggered, to be honest, but I do think it's unfair how shorter men get treated when it comes to this stuff, because not only is it like, oh, he's short, it's like, oh, he's short, there's a level of respect that people lose for you because you're short that I've seen women speak like, I just feel like a short man, I don't respect him as much. Like, I'm a grown man. I'm not tall, but what does that have to do with respecting me? What does that have to do with me as a person in general? And I think it's fucked up, to be honest, because like most dudes, you know, we could talk about the fat shame and stuff and all that, but most dudes, you're not going to hear something like, oh, she's short, she too short, or she tall. Shit, I dated a girl that was damn near 6 feet one time, and I mean, I didn't have any issues, but it's weird how, like, we're viewed, kind of. Because I look at it and I see a lot of people talk about how, 6 foot plus is just, like, amazing, and they can do no wrong, and there's big dick energy and all this. Then it's like short men, oh, they have a complex. The respect factor is there. The dick is little, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like,
never heard
yo.
Because you're short, your dick is little.
I'm telling you, but these are like, I've had a woman say to me,
baby,
when we went to have sex, like, oh shit, I didn't expect that. And I'm like, why? Is it because I'm short? And it was pretty much like, yeah. And I'm like, wow. Like, and then when I've been seeing all of this like body shaming stuff, and we supposed to be on body positivity and all that, and it's awkward to me that people have such a, like, they go so crazy about short people, because the one thing about being short is that we can't control it one bit. Like, literally, there's nothing we can do. You got, like he said earlier, you got people that can lose weight, do whatever. We can't get no taller. And that's just how it's going to be, unless I wear some fucking platforms like a goth or something. And I'm not doing that. And I think that is a double standard, because we don't speak a lot about that. It's kind of like, you short, oh well, nigga, go find a short person. And honestly, I don't think it's right. I mean, my wife is shorter than me. My wife's 4'11", because I mean, she's shorter than me. That's who, I dealt with or whatever. But I've dealt with people bigger, shorter, like, I just don't understand it. And if y'all never heard it, I guess you're hearing it for the first time. But like, I think
it's a thing.
It's definitely a thing, because it's like, people literally be like, oh, he cute as shit, but he's short. Like, matter of fact, this girl I know, she lives down in DC. She's like, all the men here are fine as shit, but they like 5'7". Okay. Mm-hmm. I'm not tall, so what? Mm-hmm. What happens? And the problem is that it's not only because you're short, it's really because you can be short, but the only time you can be short is when you have more to offer. Meaning, pretty much, you got money or something, you can be short. Nobody gives a fuck if you got money.
And fat.
Yeah, short, ugly, fat when you got money. Because I look at people like, for example, Kevin Hart. He little as shit, but his wife is way taller than him, or looks like it. But nobody cares because he got money. Because if he was a regular person on the street, jokes all day. He little as shit, small. I don't respect him, blah, blah, blah. And I just be wondering why that is. I wish I had somebody here that could really expound on why they have an issue with short people.
Well, Lauren
Who's
likes
they?
really, really tall men, so why don't
Like
you let
women,
her explain?
most of the time it's women that speak on. Well, it
Well,
almost
I mean,
always.
I like tall men because my father was tall. My father was. It starts with my daddy. My dad was 6'5". All my cousins are tall. I'm the shortest on my dad's side, and I'm 5'6.5", 5'7". So I come from, tall men, but tall people. Period. I just like looking up at a man. I just think it's sexy. It makes you feel, a little bit controlled. I like to be controlled in a certain way. Protected.
See what I mean?
I mean, that's
No,
how,
I know what you
how
mean,
it
but
makes
that's what I
feel.
mean.
So for me, I mean, if a guy was short, I mean, my daughter's father isn't 6 feet. He's maybe 5'11". I mean, it's not 6 feet. He might be 5'10", 5'11".
1 inch.
He might be 5'10" or 5'11". Every guy I've ever dealt with or dated wasn't 6'2" or more. It's a preference, but it's not a deal breaker. But for me, I just like taller. I like taller men, like I said, for all those reasons. And I don't like big dudes, but I don't like small guys either. I don't want to feel like I can pick you up and put you on my hip. That ain't sexy at all. I can't feel like I'm your mom. Like
But
pick
see-
you up for Easter, but
See? But and this is the thing. That's the shaming right there, because it's like, all right, first of all, I feel like I'm your mom. Like, you only can feel like my mom if I allow you to treat me like you're my mom. There's nothing that a tall person pretty much can do that I can't, except for grab something off the top shelf. I might need a ladder, but like, I don't like to hear, when we talk about stuff like this and you're like, I feel protected. I could beat the shit out of a tall person and then what? Like, I just don't like that, because it's a part of shaming to me, because that's a respect thing. You're bigger than me, therefore
it is.
I respect you more because I think you can protect me. You're little, you can't protect me.
Well,
height doesn't protect you. Heart and actually
I
being
didn't say
able
it
to
does, but I
protect
told
somebody
you-
can protect you.
But so let me just show you, let me explain to how I just because I feel something doesn't mean I think
I
it's
know.
true. It's just a feeling.
Right, but
So I don't think a man who's short can't protect me. But it makes you feel like to look up, and so it's a study. Let me get my notes out.
put the Gucci on.
So evolutionary theory. So it's a thing called assortative mating. It means that individuals with similar phenotypes mate with another more frequently than would be expected under a random mating pattern, aka birds of a feather flock together. So it's a bunch of studies that have been made by women, studies with couples, and most times out of 724 couples, the men is taller. So it's from evolution. Like, it's part of, I think when we think about present, we don't think evolution. I don't know if you believe in evolution, or if you believe, some people don't believe in evolution, but a lot of the mating choices just evolved from us being mammals. And in the animal world, big, most times somebody that is just part of us being like mammals. Not saying that a person who is shorter can't, but most times women want,
The bigger male.
That's it's just an evolutionary thing. And I think it's some of it is science. I don't think the person got to be 6'10", but most times the woman wants their mate to be taller than them, and I don't think the person has to be 6'5". They just want their mate to be taller. You're taller than your wife.
But the interesting thing to me though is like a lot of the women who say that they want the 6'5" guy will be like the 5'4" woman. it's not the 5'4", 5'5" woman saying, "Oh, I'm cool if my dude is 5'7".
Right.
It's cool. I don't really hear a lot of women saying, "I just want a man taller than what I am." It's like they put an actual like
height.
But you
to
know
it.
it's not true because most men aren't that tall. What's the average? The average is an average for a reason.
Five,
Yeah, like 5'10" or
So
something.
I think it's like 5'10", 5'9", 5'10".
Right, so that average is there for a reason because most men are that height. So these women say stuff or people say stuff without probably truly thinking about it fully because at the end of the day, they're probably not going to end up with someone who's 6'5". They're saying 6'5" as a number, but as long as the man is taller than them, trust me, they'll be with the guy.
And the same, it goes hand in hand with a lot of men that you hear say, I want a short joint. I want a short woman. I want a girl, if she's 5'7" or over, I don't want to talk to her. I want my chick to be 5'6" and under.
Y'all heard that?
You hear a lot of men say that too.
Like little women.
Like they like short women.
That's short shaming.
Yep, same thing.
Y'all heard that?
Same thing. Yeah. Or I've met men that will be like, oh, you tall. You kind of tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
And that's
I'm
what I'm
5'7".
saying.
I've been called tall for a girl.
And I think that
is
the
tall.
issue is, it's kind of like when we talk about the shaming thing, my issue comes in when you start to explain why, like you were saying. Not that that's how you feel, that's your preference. Like I said earlier, I'm going to go find somebody that's going to be with me because I am who I am. I'm short. Shit, I can't, But at the same time, it's like, okay, I like taller men because I like taller men. I don't want to hear, as a shorter person, just like if somebody it's almost like down in one side to big up the other. And I think that's where a lot of the issue comes in.
No, I feel like that's how you take it though.
No, but you gotta listen. Shit, I'm like 5'6", 3/4. Little nigga, you know what I'm saying?
You was like 5'7".
I might be. I don't know. I ain't been to the doctor.
Because you're like the same height as me.
I'm probably about 5'7", but the thing is, like, a lot of times when you hear that, and it, like I said, that's one thing for you, but I've literally heard people say, I don't respect short men. Just off the protection basis, just off the, what can you do for me? And it's almost like, again, I'm still a grown man. Like, just because somebody is tall, it just gives you an image or something, which I understand the image,
Stature.
the imagery,
Yeah.
but when your 6'5" boyfriend get knocked out by a 5'7" dude, then it's like, what the fuck going on? What? Come here, Miles. My son, y'all, he upset. Come on. When that guy gets beat up by somebody who's a lot smaller, or you see that he can't even do what you think he can do, then what happens? You know what I mean? Like, not saying that's everybody, but what do you do when you're in that situation and that doesn't happen? Because using those reasons or that some of those explanations sometimes, not even all yours. Like, I get it because you're explaining the thing about your dad, but when I hear stuff like, I feel like I could be protected, I get offended at something like that because it makes me feel like, because I'm sure I can't protect you, because I can protect a lot better than a lot of people that I know. It's just that I'm short, so I don't look like it. But Nick, I done caused some wreck in my life.
Nick, you and I, we had a conversation about like the stereotypes of like somebody being overweight or whatever, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong or add to it, you were saying like people who are overweight or fat or whatever are commonly like assumed to be like lazy or like undisciplined or I don't know what the other ones may have been, but you can add to that. Yeah,
there's so many studies for perception of overweight people being lazy, not disciplined, not being smart. You look at someone heavier, overweight, they're looked at as not being intelligent. They're passed on for promotions in the workplace because of perception. Perception, there's so many studies, or they're not stylish, or they're not, all of the quote unquote industry standards of, what's the word I'm looking for? Of achievement.
Okay.
Like they haven't achieved anything, because how can you effectively manage my company and you can't manage your weight?
Right.
How can you effectively lead a group of people.
That's rough.
If you're overweight and you can't get yourself together, you don't have enough discipline to get yourself together. So why would anyone respect you if you don't respect yourself because you're overweight? It's a lot of studies with those different type of perceptions of overweight people, heavier people.
Yeah.
Unhealthy. There are so many
Trash.
unhealthy slim people that a heavier person can outrun them, just like, you know how you say the protecting factor, right?
Exactly.
There are slim people that are super unhealthy, but they're slim. And there are people that are overweight, over industry standards of weight, or the weight versus height chart thing. I don't know what that's called exactly, but
the BMI index.
Right. And they're healthier than any of these people. Can outrun them anytime.
The NFL, yeah.
But they got money, so they don't count.
All of them. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's all true as far as like what the perception is. I've probably been guilty of thinking of some of those things myself, to be honest with you. And one thing I did want to say before all my batteries run out was like, I also think that I get accused of like body shaming or fat shaming or not liking overweight people or whatever the case may be, because I think people look at me now and like don't think that, like, I feel like I'm like I feel like I am fat as and I'm not I'm not joking, like I'm not saying that to be funny, like I grew up like the chubby kid, you know what I'm saying, but I just so happened to be able to like play sports and I was athletic or whatever. And as I got older, you know what I'm saying, I was able to like lose a little bit of weight. Still got some of it on me. But like up here, like the reason I go to the gym every day or the reason I run all the time or always lifting weights or always doing crunches or doing something is because like in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be fat. I don't want it. No, it might sound
it's
funny,
cool.
but I grew up like on some, I want to play sports professionally. Like I want that to be my livelihood. And I literally had conversations with my dad and my grandfather on some like, you know, if this is something that you want to do, like you have to manage your weight. You have to. And it wasn't an insulting conversation. It was a real ass conversation. My nigga, if you want to play sports, you have to be able to play sports. You have to be able to be fast. You have to be able to be quick. You have to be able to be agile. You can't do that if you're carrying 300 pounds. You can't. Like, scientifically, you can't. You can't do it. It's going to be niggas who going to be faster than you, quicker than you. Therefore, they're not going to pick you. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, like, that was always my... And these are conversations I was having at, like, 8 and 9 and 10 years old. Like, because, you know, like, old grandfathers, like, they say whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? That was fuck. And,
Come here, you little fat fucker.
But, like, I just always carry that with me. So, like, what I think is, like, people might look at me and, like, from the outside looking in, like, they might be looking at me like, nigga, you're not fat. Like, you're not even big. You're not even whatever. But not knowing, like, I'm always coming from the mentality, like I'm still part of like the BB dub or the BB, like I'm part of that gang, like in my mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's not, so anytime I honestly just be on some like damn, like why you wanna, I don't understand why people are, I don't understand, like I can never understand, like if I had a choice to pick being big versus being like slim, like I'm gonna pick slim. And I don't know if that makes me, like, people probably gonna be like, oh, you hate yourself.
Everybody would pick slim.
That's what and that's what I be thinking.
Well, what we
like,
talk about,
not slim, they would pick
in shape.
In shape.
Yeah.
Right.
And I feel like people lie about that shit.
That's
and
where
women lie about that
that's
stuff.
a negativity. I think it's just because of the negative connotation that fat or anything has, because when you look at it, we have all this stuff because of most of the time because of people who are bigger, short, or they just have something going against them. Because when I say, like, you'll come in a group, like when we in a group chat and you're like, I don't like BBWs or I don't like bigger women. I like bigger women. Mm-hmm. I like women who got meat on their bones. I don't really like skinny women. Nobody ever has a problem with that. Never. Because there's not a negative connotation with being skinny for most people. Right. So me saying that is not offending anybody because they like, well, I'm the fucking
I'm who you're talking about.
Yeah, basically. I'm the cherry on top of the ice cream, or whipped cream, whatever you want to call it, because being skinny is where it's at. But I want somebody who's thicker, bigger. I like guts and shit like that. So for me, it's like when I say that, the people who usually hear the negative comment, they're going to love what I'm saying because they're like, yeah, somebody who likes me. The people who are skinny like, all right, well, nigga, he like bigger women, whatever. Yeah. But when you flip it, it's like, man, this nigga, he always talking about he don't like big women because there's a negativity there. That's the only difference. Society has put a negative connotation on being a bigger person. Fat, thick, big John, whatever you want to call it, that's what they're going to do. That's just how it go. Yes, son. All right. Listen. Lesson learned, brother. I ain't gonna lie to you, because you're a young man growing up in America. But there's a negative connotation there, right? Yeah. So I think that's what you're going against every time we get into this conversation, bro. It's just that people who are bigger, who heard this shit their whole life, they're offended by it. So when you say it, they're offended more. Because if I ran around, like I said, like, oh, I don't like Skinny Jones, whatever, nobody gives a shit. They don't care, bro. They don't give a fuck. Because, okay, there's plenty of niggas out here who do like me.
Do you think the conversation that you had with your grandfather has done something to your psyche as a whole to make you look at bigger people like, ugh?
Probably. This nigga was a body shaper. Like that nigga. He used to call big women moose. He trash. He's so trash. Like, nah, he definitely
he used the ER in nigga, huh?
He definitely
right?
He definitely, I mean, but he come from that era where body shaming not even a thing. Like, it's just, you call it like you see it and you say that shit and it's probably gonna be funny and niggas is gonna laugh, so I'm gonna say it. Like, that's where he come from. But I mean, I can't lie, like having those conversations, or not even conversations, but just like listening to him, you know, express his feelings in that safe space of his own home, and having him speak so freely about it, but in his mind, you know, speak truthfully about it. I mean, I guess as a kid, like, how could I not like pick up on some of that, or maybe like halfway like believe some of that? I don't know if that's where it comes from, but I mean, it definitely probably is a part of, you know, maybe why I like what I like. I don't know, like, because say for instance, if we rewind the clock and he was like, and big women were his type, and every time he saw a big woman, like, he would like damn, like, she bad, like, that's the type of woman that you need in your life, that you want in your life. You know, maybe that would have had, maybe my type would be a different type.
That's
like,
true too.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you never know. So, I mean, probably it probably played a part.
Or maybe the way you see big women is the way you see yourself. It might be projecting.
That could be a part too, because like, what I don't like is I can't wrap my mind around. I know what it feels like to be too heavy. Like, I know what it feels like, and I know what it feels like to be 260, and I know what it feels like to be 225, and I'm picking 225 every fucking single time. You know what I'm saying? But I also know the work that it takes to get from 260 to 225, and that's the part that I know that these women ain't trying to fucking put in.
Right.
That's what makes me upset.
Right.
Because like when it's like even if you put it in perspective of you're in the interior design business, you know what it takes to make a house look like how you make your houses look. But then if you look over here and you see another group or you see another person who's in your same business, wants the success or the talent or the accolades that you have, but you know that they're not willing to put that work in to get those results, it's like, get the fuck out of here then. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear you talking about, oh, don't nobody want to book me. Don't nobody, because that's along the same lines as like, oh, you body shaming. You don't want to put the fucking work in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I kind of feel like in my mind, like, I kind of have, like, when you pay dues in certain areas, you kind of have a right to be like, nah, like, I'm not trying to hear what you talking about, because I know what it takes and you not doing what it takes. So I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you could fool everybody else, but I'm a nigga who gained 40 pounds and lost 40 pounds. And I know how hard that is. And I know the difference in how it feels to be 40 pounds too heavy and to be where I need to be in order to perform. And like, if you don't want to go to the gym, if you don't want to run, if you don't want to lift, if you don't want to do core, shut the fuck up. Like, seriously. Like, or at least, because I'm not slim. I'm not, in my mind.
You fake.
In my mind, I'm not. But it's funny. In my mind, I'm never gonna be where I want to be body wise. But that's what keeps me going to the gym. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because for me, like, if I ever truly got to where I wanted to be, then I wouldn't have to go no more.
You would have.
And then I would gain it right back.
Yeah, you would have to maintain it.
But I'm just saying, like, mentally though, like that's my, like, you know how they say like Jordan or Kobe, like they make shit up to like think like that, like the world is against them, right? Because it gives them motivation to like go harder and like try to, like, that's kind of like how my mind is with that shit. Like, I'm always like, damn, like, my nigga, like you going hard, but you ain't where you need to be, so you need to go tomorrow,
right? And
then that happens tomorrow, and like, you know what I'm saying? And that's how I keep going. Some people, I just feel like they just accept the shit because it's too hard, and then the acceptance turns into like embracing it, and then the embracing it turns into, I'm perfect like this.
Right. I feel like
when you know that you know that you want to be better, look better, feel better, because it's proven. Like, if you y'all fucking can attest to this shit, because y'all gained weight, lost weight, whatever. Like, you on your journey right now. You can't tell me. What'd you say you lost? 30?
30 since the beginning of
you can't sit here and tell me that you don't feel better now.
Oh, I feel
that you felt 30 pounds ago.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And some people won't admit that shit. Some people be like, nah, I feel great 30 pounds more. No, you did.
If you ain't gonna do nothing about it, I can understand that, because if you ain't doing nothing, then it's like, shut up and stop complaining, because
I mean, I do it too. Like, I look at
do that to you.
Some women and I'm like, I don't see how they do it. Like, because I'm a person who's going up and going down, you know, and I did the work, and I know it's just like, I don't see how they carrying all that weight around them. Like, I know they're uncomfortable. You getting out the car like this to get out the car and all that shit. That shit.
You gotta turn to put your legs out the car.
Like no. So I mean, and like I said, I'm not. I say it. I'll be like, yeah, I'm fat, and you know, some people like, don't say that you're not fat. Yes, I am. Like, it's okay. I'm fat, and I'm gonna get rid of it, you know. So I won't. If I don't think I'm fat, I'm not going to do anything about it. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like most of women, I'm not going to say all, but a majority of them are just, they upset because they fat, and they mad because they probably got a crush on you, and they never going to have a chance. Well, lose the fucking weight. Like, get your shit together.
That's also definitely a part of it.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
No, it's not.
Bro, listen, no. Listen, I'm telling you as a man, bro. Like,
I wouldn't care. They only care because they like you.
You're a well sought out individual. So hearing you say that kind of knocks people's hope down. So they defend themselves the best way they know how. That's a part of it. And we've talked about stuff like you know that, bro. So that is another part of it where it's like I really like this guy, but he doesn't like me. And people have said it. You know that but he don't like BBW. You heard? I know you done seen people in the group say that.
That's true.
I would do this, but he don't like BBW. So
what's a BBW? Like
what's that? Big beautiful woman?
No, but what's a BBW?
Black
Like,
beautiful
let's name a celebrity who's bigger, who's
old school Jennifer
overweight.
Hudson.
No, who's overweight, but you still would. You're not saying you wouldn't mess with someone who's she's fat.
No, I'm good off Lizzo.
No, what celebrity is overweight? I feel like BBW
right now
is just fat. You know, it's another.
No,
name
it's.
for fat.
I mean, there's different. There's different.
What's the overweight
Tabria
woman?
Majors.
I'm asking Jaxon.
Oh, that's the license.
She fired.
Is there somebody who's overweight who you would still deal with that's not a size 10 or 6?
I don't know sizes. What's that song I made? Oh, she a real thought. Give me that Jill Scott. When she was sucking a microphone dick.
You would mess with somebody Jill Scott's size.
Yeah, Jill Scott, she a nice size.
Oh, okay.
She thick. She
So
thick
She's
now.
curvy, though.
Yeah.
Jilly.
Well, I
So
mean,
you like a BBW, but they gotta be
Curvy.
exaggeratedly curvy.
exaggerately.
There you go, new word.
like nah,
because there are plus size women that have like deep curves, like deep curves. Like Lauren, for instance, you know what I'm saying? Like she has a very small waist. She has a pear shape, so everything is small up top, but she got hips and ass. So a lot of men, they like, oh,
They'll overlook. That's what always got me through. Like I ain't never messed with a big girl, but they mess with me because I never had a fat, a crazy big stomach, and I always had a big butt and thighs. So, but I'm a big on that scale be like, how you doing? How you doing? And then when I tell people how much I weigh, they be like, oh my God, I can't believe you weigh that much. Because I just carry weight, a little bit better than most.
Yeah.
But
And the shape is important too, because I mean, I think a lot of times, like, I'll be honest, like, although I do like bigger women, I don't like sloppy looking people.
right.
I don't think anybody likes anybody that's sloppy looking. That's for men and women.
Right.
Because there are people who walk around here skinny, fat, and they just look dismantled or whatever. I don't know. Yeah, it just looks crazy. And nobody wants to, people, if you like a shapely person, you're not going to be attracted to that. Even if you like a bigger person, it's still like you want them to have some kind of curve, some type of, something versus just looking like bull. Like, and I'm not trying to be funny, but there are people who look like that, and part of the reason because, like you're saying, some of them just don't take care of themselves in any way. So if you don't in any way, of course you're going to have a look that people are just not. Because there are some women who are bigger that are, listen, they the bomb. Like the way they dress, the way they look, like the way they keep themselves up. Man, listen, send them my way, brother, because you don't like it.
This is my thing too, though. Like, I don't want to. We literally just talked about this on the pod. I think last week, where I don't want to be a person. We talked about like if you've ever been in a relationship or a situation where you felt like you weren't your partner's type. I feel like I've been in a relationship where I felt like I wasn't my partner's type.
Physically or mentally?
Probably both, but I'm thinking more physically. And that's not a good feeling. So like I wouldn't want to do that to somebody else, because like at some point in time it's gonna come a time where it's like that's gonna like come up. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's like you may not be like completely turned on by that person this one particular time, or whether it comes to a point where you feel like that other person is pissing you off, and then you go to like you feel like you're doing them a favor by even being in this relationship because like, oh, I'm giving you a chance and I don't even really talk to bitches like who look like you. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like I don't want to do that. I would never want to do that to somebody else, because I know what it feels like, or I think that I know what it feels like to have that done to me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. Like I I can't force myself, and I wouldn't want to force myself to like try to be physically attracted to something or someone that I know that I'm really not, because that's not fair to them. If we what if I get in a situation where I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna give this girl a chance who I probably wouldn't give a chance. Then I end up like really, really liking her, like mentally, emotionally, whatever. But the physical thing is still kind of a struggle, because I don't think that's something that you can. I don't think that's something that I can, like, just turn on like a switch.
I feel like it depends on, because I dated or talked to this guy for I wouldn't want to say dated, but he was short, and I'm like, he is too short. He was too short, and it wasn't nothing about no protection. He was just too short. Like, I'm like, if I wear a heel or get dressed, I'm gonna be over top of him, and I'm not gonna like that. But I wasn't attracted to his face. But
you don't like nobody's face.
But when we started talking to one another and everything, the more I talked to him, the more attracted I got to him. So all that shortness went out the window. How he started looking more attractive, because we connected on that level. So sometimes it's like, or you might not like them, and it wasn't like he was an ugly guy. He wasn't ugly, and he was short. He was very stylish. That helped a lot. But when he talked, and different jewels he gave me, like in the beginning when I started with my business, that changed a lot. But it's just different. I feel like certain things, as far as, especially when it comes to appearance, it's just different for men and women. Like, if a man does have money, if he's helping a woman out, she will overlook all of that shit for a check. You know what I'm saying? So, but for
men, it here first.
But for men, it is a more a physical thing, because I think when men, of course there are, it's not the majority of men, when they're going out to look for a mate, is more on a physical. It's more of a physical thing. Well, with women, is not as much physical. It's about, monetary wise, and what they can get, and that just goes back to that whole evolutionary theory thing. Women, wanting something to see what can a man give her to, become a mate, and it's just across like all animal lines. It's ambition.
What can you
and
do for me?
Yeah, like, but that's
Sucks.
but that's just the thing, and it's just how it is. We are mammals, and I feel like it's just a role of men and women. Like, men won't. They don't care about certain things that women care about, like, how a man dresses or what they have on their feet, because to us that triggers a successful man, and most women want somebody successful. Men, on the other hand, not as much. They don't care about the style of shoes, as long as the woman looks neat. They're not dating. Most men aren't dating a woman, because of how successful she's planning on being. They're dating her because if she's going to be a good mother, how she looks, and all of that. Women are dating men because, is he successful? Is he going to provide all of that type of stuff? So it's just how it is, and it's a double standard. And I feel like, we got to take it. It's always going to be a double standard for men and women. Women can do certain things men can't do in the dating arena. Men can do certain things that women can't do in a dating arena, and that's just how it is.
Like what?
Like, men can fuck everybody and be a whore and be a hoe and not look down upon by women. It's like, okay, but
I think women look down upon niggas who fuck anybody.
I don't know one. I don't. A woman who's like, he slept with all these women. I cannot mess with him. He's a hoe.
Most women, because I'm not gonna say all. I shouldn't even say most. A lot of women, if they see a man that's sleeping with a lot of different women, 9 times out of 10, they're like, well, damn, what's it like that he
They
just
want to
sleep with
know
all
why.
these women? Like, I want to know what it's hitting for.
Perfect example. Tiana Trump. She went to my college, the Morgan State University. She didn't go there. She visited there.
She ain't go there. She fucked
She
there.
came and visited, and there was a video of her giving out some neck. And this this same person that was getting the neck from Tiana Trump is now like well sought out.
She a porn star.
Yeah.
She sucked dick crazy.
Yeah. And
Relax,
this dude is like well sought out now. Like he getting all the girls because Tiana Trump came through and gave him the neck. So yeah, that's definitely one of the things, and double standards, and I definitely agree to that. But I think that's why we're in the society and dating world is in shambles now, because everybody has these crazy expectations, these crazy thoughts on how stuff should be and what you should do, blah blah blah. Bro, listen, like we talked about earlier, women and men aren't equal. They're not created to be equal. They shouldn't be. Right. But now everybody's trying to play this game where everybody's trying to be the same. It ain't working out too well. This is why people are having problems finding people.
Women and women want to be the men. And I've come to the grips that I'm on a more traditional situation. Okay. And
don't talk to me about dating. I'm a terrible example.
I'm just like, certain things I'm just not doing as the woman, and certain things I just expect the man to do. I'm not fucking paying for no dates. I'm not doing it.
My thing is, if you're gonna be like that, my whole thing with people like that is be like that across the board. And my problem is there are people
across the board.
Like you may be good, like you're talking about tradition, but then there are people who be like, I'm traditional, but then when something don't go their way in the tradition,
right,
there's a problem. Because if you come to me talking about I'm traditional, I'm going to say, okay, so if I marry you, are you going to make sure I eat 3 times a day?
Yep.
At all times? Mm-hmm. Every day?
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? No, yeah, right. You see, but this is the type of thing where when you start talking like that, then it becomes a problem for people. But if you're going to talk about the tradition, talk about the tradition. My thing is, me personally, I don't care about tradition, to be honest. Listen, whatever, just get it done. Whatever needs to be done, just get it done. Like, I take out the trash in my house, and I change tires, and I do car stuff and all that. But I'm not beasting on my wife about cooking. Like, if you cooking today, all right, I'm happy. If you not, microwave it is. I'm cool. I can go to bed. But my whole thing is, like, if you're going to carry it that way, keep carrying it that way. Keep with the gender roles and making it be a certain way. Don't try to switch the game up because it's something you don't like. That's my whole thing about when it comes to tradition and all that. Dating it. The whole dating thing is crazy nowadays because people, like you said, you ain't paying for no date. But if you're going to keep it traditional all the way, cool. But there are people who are like, listen, I'm not paying on no first date with no girls because Jones is out here using people to go eat. And that's all they're doing. So then you got people out here like, I ain't paying for this. They have, and that's why people catching.
What's the difference, though?
Because people are catching up now, and it's like, listen,
is broke and they want to be treated.
Niggas is broke. Right. So now this is my issue. Now this is my issue. Niggas is broke. They want to be treated. First of all, even if I ain't broke, what's the issue with me wanting you to treat me to something?
I can treat you to something once we've established something a little bit more. But the first couple of dates, I'm not doing that. No.
That's cool, and see that's why I'm not traditional, because I didn't go on dates like that. I didn't care about none of that. You can get to know me just by sitting on the porch. We can go for a walk. You could call it a date, but paying money.
Back to my studies.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Listen,
it's cool. It's probably dead.
Back to the studies. Let's hear it.
Okay.
She's like Professor McGonagall over here.
So it's something called a Javian signal. It's a signal for for a signal to be honest. It needs to be costly. Otherwise, anyone can imitate it. So as it relates to mating, costly means it can be monetary. That's
one way of it being costly.
Yeah, that's one way of being costly. But when you're dating and getting to know somebody, or you eventually want to get engaged, the cost is what signals to a woman that a man is willing to put his money where his mouth is. I'm doing this because I'm letting you know that I'm really honest about what I'm trying to do.
What is this? What do you have in your notes about what it costs the woman? There's no notes for that.
No, because
that's interesting.
Because most time it's the male who does
courting.
The male does the courting. It's called a rite of passage. It's called courtship rituals, and that's a courtship ritual.
Traditionally,
we just said
traditionally,
that,
yes.
We just said that. What was the?
Because the woman does the choosing. The woman says yes.
So what did it cost before money was a thing?
So before money was a thing, it was
a bag of rice.
No, so it was. So one of the it's a tribe. It's still a tribe. I forget what country they said where one of the costs is a thing called a bullet ant. So this bullet ant, if it stings you heard about it? If the bullet ant stings you, is a pain that is out of this world. Like you can faint from the pain from one ant. So in this one tribe, the rite of passage for men was that 20 times out of 20 different times they would take these leaves and like starve the ants, and they would put the man's hand in the leaves, and then the ants would just sting with a bunch of ants, and if you could and you would have to take the pain and sit there and not make a word. This was their rite of passage, and from there you would get into the tribe, and that's when women would see if you were a worthy man. Now the cost wasn't monetary wise, but the cost was pain. And if you didn't, you wouldn't get the mate.
So my question, I get that. That's their rite of passage is ridiculous, but it's amazing. Right? But what I'm saying is like, what's the rite of passage for the woman what's her rite of passage to get to the spot to where she can just choose the niggas with the bruised up fingers?
Just be a woman.
Just being a woman.
That's the prize. That's
the issue for me today.
That's the bullshit.
Because now my issue.
I think that's what we're
evolution.
saying.
That's how it is.
No, that ain't evolution. That's just a teaching.
Wait. Because
that's
you
just
can't.
A teaching.
I don't think you can use. I don't think you can
it's
use. I don't think you can use. That's how it is. Because at a point in time, and this is a super left, but at some point in time, slavery was just how it was. Like you can't just. I don't think you can just always fall back on like that's how it is, because there are a lot of things where it's just how it is, but it's dead fucking wrong.
But it's a science to it, Jackson. That's the thing. Men have testosterone. Y'all men.
But what does that have to do with you not having to do anything?
Because because
you have estrogen. You have estrogen.
Yeah,
she's taking care of the kids.
She's taking care of kids. She's giving birth.
What if you don't want to have kids?
But that's what we created to do. So now you're talking about men. Human beings were here created to procreate.
So if we're gonna get into that though, I'm gonna just be like, well, you should never have a problem if your man cheats on you then, because we just here to have sex.
We're here to procreate, not just to have sex.
We are.
So yeah, but most of the things that we are learned. That we taught are learned as far as the way to have some control, so we're not running rampant. Women, so yeah, in different countries that is okay. Women globally outnumber men. Okay, so let's talk about black people in the black community. So half of our men are locked up, right?
Right.
The ones that's not locked up, half of them is the fuck gay. So you know. That's true. They are gay. So the pickings, and if you want a black man as a black woman, then that is something you have to consider. You have to think about sharing a man.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is you throw those things out as if they're facts. I don't know.
What?
The half are in jail, half are gay, and then
no, that is women outnumber
I'm not saying
men
that it's
globally.
not a fact. I'm just saying.
So most of our black men aren't.
I'm just saying that you say those things, right? But then it's wild that those things are now a thing and a variable that's thrown into the dating world. But then yet you still believe that the woman has to just exist.
I don't believe the woman I'm just trying to tell you that. For certain, I don't feel like the woman just has to exist. I feel like in this day and time, because it's not 10,000 years ago, we do have to bring something to the table. But what I'm saying to you, as far as the dating thing, I hate when men still want a woman to look a certain way. Most men want a woman to look a certain way. We're not talking about fetishes when men just want to fuck. They want a woman to look a certain way. They want their titties to sit a certain way. They don't want stretch marks. They don't want cellulite. But it's like, okay, you have a standard of what a woman should look like as a mate. And we have a standard of how, not what a man should look like most times, but how a man should provide. That's always been the male perspective and the woman's perspective. Women okay, you might not ever want kids, but as a whole, we were here to procreate, correct? So women sacrifice much, much more once we get that mate that you can do monetary wise. Like we're bearing children. That's a lot right there. We're raising a child up. We're keeping most times in a quote unquote perfect world, we're keeping the family together so you can go out to provide for us. Or we're doing that, and we're also bringing money to the table. So
but the problem is, I look at that as just everybody doing their part. That's why I don't really believe in certain things, and people might get mad at me. But in today's end, ain't no staying home and all that unless
it's
you
not
making.
Staying home, but the woman still. I don't care what you say. I ain't talking about because I don't know too many stay at home. I
only know one.
But for the most part, when that is. The child, the child is with the mother. The first 5 years, most times that baby is with that mother, whether she's working or not. The most of the responsibility is on the mother. The first 5 years of that baby's life. Whether she's working or not, she has to worry about who's going to watch the child. She got to worry about who's eating. She taking the child to all of that is whether you in a relationship or not. I see it myself. The mom is doing all of that. That stuff.
Well, and a lot of times.
So for the first 5 years of this potential child,
right?
That means that you don't have to do anything in the dating portion.
The overall thing is, though, not for nothing, is that a woman, a black woman's worth has been discounted so much because these women have gotten more independent because of the discounting. You know what I mean? Like, what do you bring to the table? What can you do for me? How can you bring any worth into my life? You know, so then they're left with, oh well, fuck it, because I can't. This guy is not going to do anything, or he's not going to be a provider naturally or by force. So now I'm stuck with doing all of these different things. So with going back to the evolution, women have morphed into these, and we've had these conversations about being independent, being self-sufficient, and all of these different things. So then they have this attitude towards some men like, you can't do nothing for me. You can't do nothing for me that I can't do for myself. So why should I even fuck with you?
And that's when you gotta hit them with the saying, because I've come across certain situations like that, and you gotta be able to tell women what you can bring to the table. And the thing is, you gotta think outside the box most of the time, and you gotta really be on some. I understand that because I know what it's like, and I understand it. But the only thing is, for me as a man, and if I'm gonna be with a woman, I'm gonna have to put in work to want to be with her. But as a man, you gonna have to put in work too. Mm-hmm. Ain't no more that I'm the prize grab. We both the prize. Like that. No, I can't live like that no more because we not going to do that. What it's going to be is we're both going to work hard to make sure we show each other that we love each other, want to be together, and then we'll go forward as a team. Mm-hmm. I can't the lopsided stuff. If a dude got to do all this, I'm not with all that because everybody need to put in work. Because then you get stuff like this where it's like. People are walking around like women. A lot of not you guys, but a lot of women walk around today like they the shit, and I just be looking at them like, what are you offering? Mm-hmm. Because most men can. They're not saying that the women just have no value, but a lot of men can do stuff that women can do. Mm-hmm. It's not that hard to live by yourself. Like I know a lot of people that do it. You have to bring value to somebody's life, just like they need to bring value to yours. That's just how I look at it.
That should be hilarious to me when adults be bragging about being like adults.
Yeah, like I be like, all right,
but because you're an adult with a vagina, it's like a more of an accomplishment. That's just weird to me.
Yeah, like when people
it's just weird.
I pay my own bills.
Like if you were to hear a man say, "I pay my own bills.
I'm independent.
I live by myself. I got my car. I got a job." You be looking at this nigga like,
how else would you live?
like yeah, like That you on track?
Yeah, that's today's world. I just feel like a lot of people have lost that where they're like, I see people talking about how, a man got to do this, a man got to do that, and I'm like, well, what you doing? And it's like, I got my own. You're supposed to. What's supposed to happen, really, you're supposed to have two people, whether they're established or not, all the way. They're both able to live as adults, and then we can combine this situation and make it better. Y'all should be making each other's lives better, both of y'all. Not just she come in because she's the prize, so now my life is amazing. Not just he comes in, he's the prize, my life is amazing. Y'all supposed to work together and be amazing together. I don't believe in all that, I'm the prize stuff, because what happens is eventually it's like, all right, this prize shit is over now. Like, we old now. What did you really bring all this time? I don't care about a lot of stuff that a lot of dudes may care about. I care about other shit. And that's the thing about me, where it's like I said, I don't care about the cooking and all that shit like that. What are you going to do for me emotionally? And that's me personally. Because I can do almost whatever else. I need somebody that's going to be emotionally available for me, be there when I'm going through shit, just like I'm going to be there when it goes through. Because me personally, I'm great emotionally. When you want to cry, I'm going to be there. I'm not going to say stop bitching, man up. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to look out. I want somebody to do the same stuff for me. But that's the work that I'm talking about putting in versus, regular ass adult shit. I don't care about that, because I can do most of that by myself with no problem. I mean, I'm not the greatest cook, but a nigga can survive. You know what I'm saying? That's what matters. And I love cereal anyway, so it's whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just not. People just try to put, like he said, put stuff on a pedestal that we already know you're supposed to be doing. It doesn't amaze me at all that somebody can cook. Now, if you're a great cook, that's better, but it's not amazing to me, like, oh my God, because a lot of people can cook. So I just think that people need to stop with this. It's almost like a competition between men and women, instead of just working together to be whatever y'all going to be going forward. That's what needs to happen. Yeah, but we've been in this for like 4 hours.
we done put everybody to sleep.
Featuring MJ.
We talked about a lot, and we ain't talking about what we really want to talk about that much. But it's cool. I feel like it was a good conversation.
There's nothing to say too much about the fat shaming to me. I mean, I don't have really too much input. I feel like people need to just lose weight.
Stop being pussy. Stop crying.
Stop being a bitch ass bitch.
If a person doesn't like you, it's fine. There's somebody out there that does. I mean, you can't be upset for a person for having a preference. It's just ridiculous. It's just, come on with the insecure shit. That's the way I feel.
Yeah, because the same people be talking about how they getting their cheeks clapped and all that too. And I'm like, well, there you go right there. Don't worry about that.
One person doesn't like big women.
I mean, people be wanting to be liked by everybody, though. I
don't want to be liked by everybody.
I get it. I mean, it's part of me that, people want to be everybody's type. You know what I'm saying? It's just not, not possible, though.
We be like that.
But
I am everybody's type.
All right.
I'm just short.
Yeah, man. We talked forever. We put everybody to sleep. Hopefully the conversation was still pretty good. It's late, so hopefully y'all sleep because it's late and not because we trash and it was boring. But yeah, we about to get out of here, man. I'm gonna let y'all go. Give y'all social media again, and just want to give another thank you around the room for coming out and having these talks and these conversations with me, whether we agree or disagree. I just appreciate y'all just taking the time out to help me put together another episode. So hopefully the people will like it. So give y'all social media where they can find y'all.
I'm Nick with Erotic Boudoir again. EROTIC_BOUDOIR. We're based in Philadelphia. Everything, sex toy, adult defense, art of bondage, all that good stuff.
Lauren White, Ellen W. Interior Concepts. Yeah. Follow me. I'm Sleepy. Interior, Philadelphia-based interior designer. I do travel for design.
Again, my name is Miles. You can follow me on the gram, Miles Alonzo, Miles period. Alonzo, ALONZO on Twitter. DeMiles Theory, DA_MILES_Theory. Good brother. Thanks for having me out. Thanks for having us out. For sure. We've been rapping for a minute, but I have enjoyed the conversation, so it's definitely been dope.
For sure. And once again, I am Jaxon from the Sexual Strangers, a Grown Folks podcast. Every Monday, new episodes come out. We definitely got a live show November the 1st in Houston. I don't know if there's tickets left, but if there are, you can find them on our website, www.sexualstrangerspodcast.com. My Instagram is Jaxon1616. That's JAXON1616. And this again is another one mic stand. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Hopefully y'all enjoy it. And we out.
Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2. What is this? Santana's back to business. Let's go. Let me take time to brush my shoulders off. Wait, I had to dust my shoulders off. Y'all been waiting, been patient, been anxious. Now I herefore bring back me, your greatness.